not here today.
I
think he's hungover.
JT, you should feel very honored. You are let us have interns. You and Q are the only two interns in this show's history.
Yeah.
Both still work here. Well, Q works over at KMBZ, but both still work in the building. Both still around. A couple of solid interns,
Yeah, we turned out pretty good, I think.
Life lessons were learned.
Right. Lessons were learned. I learned one thing. I did not want to be on the news side, and I guess Q learned that he liked to be on the news side because that's where he is now. I was like, every time they asked me if I wanted to be on the news side, I said, I'd just rather stay on the sports side.
I don't like the news.
Yeah,
sports
news is just not mine.
Text line's convinced Drew drank 3 wine coolers yesterday. That's why he's not on the show.
Of all the brazen things he said on the show, the time that he claimed he could outdrink me was easily the most brazen. That's worse than the Augusta one in some way. He thought he was going drink for drink.
He looked like he had a good time, though, for his birthday.
Yeah,
I saw a couple of his posts on Instagram. It looked like he went shopping like he said he wanted to. It looked like there was a selfie in a dressing room, which we can talk about tomorrow. It looked like he was playing Papa-Shot late. He had a nice streak going on some Papa-Shot. It looked like a Dave & Buster's or something. I don't know if it was a Chuck's Arcade or a Dave & Buster's. And so, happy birthday yesterday to Drew, and he'll be back tomorrow. But we'll give him a hard time for not being here today, that's for sure. You guys can hit us up on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 9135-867965, and also video stream up and running. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. That way you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. So we were talking off air yesterday, just looking ahead a little bit, like obviously Commanders, Monday Night Football right here on the station.
Yep.
We don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to play and all that. And we were trying to figure out, all right, when's the next loss actually going to come? Because I heard Bob and Dusty, I think, talking on, maybe it was Monday. Bob doesn't think the Chiefs are losing a game the rest of the year. So I'm like, all right, let's actually dive into this here and look at the schedule. Here are the next couple of games. Basically, when's the next loss if you think there's a next loss coming? Week 8, Commanders. At Buffalo in Week 9. Then a perfectly timed bye week in Week 10.
Honestly, right after Buffalo, but before you
perfect.
take on your biggest divisional game of the year, the road game against Denver.
And then out of the bye, divisional game, we know Andy Reid has a very strong track record post-bye week. We'll get into those numbers more specifically when we get there. But at Denver, then the Colts game looks tougher, but it is at home. At Dallas, that's Thanksgiving Day. Dallas's offense is legit. Their defense, we'll see if they make a trade by the time the Chiefs play them. Then the Texans, who to me are just not any good. Chargers also at home. At Tennessee, home to the Broncos. And, of course, they wrap it up in a game which seems like it'll actually matter, at least for the Chiefs, to lock up something in Week 18 at the Raiders. Not for the Raiders, but usually I don't think the Chiefs will be having Gardner Minshew start in Week 18 this year.
Well, I guess you could predict that. If they won every game until then, if your prediction was they win every game, that final game might not matter depending on where they are. Like maybe they already don't have the 1 seed. Maybe the division's already locked up. Maybe they're kind of locked in.
I don't think they're
2 or 3. I don't think they're running the table either.
Yeah, I do not think that they are going to just win out. And the way they're playing, I understand the excitement, and this team is a problem for everybody again. And I think there's a chance to defensively, if they make a trade, get a little more depth on the defensive line, they could even improve in that area. But they're going to have a top 10 defense and top 10 offense this year, and maybe a top 5 offense and a top 10 defense, if we're being more specific, by the time the season is over. For me, I'll just go with what has typically happened for this team, and I know it feels like they're about to just roll. I want to see Buffalo out of the bye week first. So for me, Buffalo plays this weekend after not looking too hot against Atlanta their last time out on a Sunday night game, right, where they lost.
Yeah.
And their defense, I think, is a major issue for Buffalo. But did they make any adjustments post-bye week? So if Buffalo goes out there and their defense looks a heck of a lot better the next 2 weeks, then my answer might be different. But right now, the Buffalo game, it's hard to imagine that the Chiefs would struggle against Buffalo defensively the way they look, but maybe the Bills clean some things up. The Chiefs typically in the regular season, that's when they lose to Buffalo. They don't lose in the postseason. I'll say at Buffalo, if I had to guess, I think.
So you're only giving it a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But in fairness, I want to see the Bills defense this week. If the Bills defense is still a sieve, then, that to me will not be the game.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if they're coming off a bye week, they have a chance to fix a lot of their problems and issues and what they've been doing just in general. And so you would think they would come out a little bit cleaner. I actually think they're going to get past Buffalo this time. I like them against the Commanders for fairly obvious reasons, I think. Normally, I might answer something like Denver, but they're coming off the bye. Historically, they're very good at those things, Gold. So it's hard for me to imagine there's a world in which they don't complete that win. Not impossible. I'm between at home versus the Colts or at Dallas. I definitely don't think they're getting through at Buffalo, at Denver, at home versus the currently 6-1 Colts, and at Dallas. I don't think they're going through those 4 games without a loss. And if they are, well, then they are winning out, okay? Like, if they win those next 4 games after the Commanders game, so 5 more games in a row, well, then I won't be predicting them lose the rest of the way to Texans and Chargers at home, Titans and Raiders on the road, and at home versus the Broncos. I'll definitely think they're winning out if they get there. My guess, God, do I give them all the way to at Dallas? Because my instinct is to say at home.
But you think they lose on Thanksgiving?
I'm going to say at Dallas. I'm going to say they rip off 4 more wins in a row before things go south for a game. Short week, Thanksgiving. Dallas is salty. Like
I understand the thought process.
I'm not saying that they're like a world beater of a team. You can lose to teams that are not world beater teams. They can score on you. They can keep up. Defense maybe just has a slightly off day, and Dallas gets some 33.
I mean, Dallas's defense is terrible. I mean,
yeah, but I also think that they're going to trade for whatever the best defensive lineman is.
Well, it's not going to be Max Crosby. You saw that report yesterday.
See that?
The Raiders, and I know just because an organization says we're not trading someone doesn't mean 100% it's never going to happen. But
apparently
it
had
seemed pretty strong.
To say it, yeah.
Yeah, Tom Pelissero had the report there that basically the Raiders talked with Max Crosby to let him know that they aren't shopping him and they're not going to trade him. So that seems like that's not going to be the option. As I said, I understand the thought on Dallas. Buffalo's the one I'm keeping an eye on. It still is Josh Allen, but I do want to see how the Bills' defense looks the next 2 weeks before. So by the time we get to that game, I don't know, maybe I'll look at the Bills' defense and say, nah, the Chiefs aren't going to slip up on that. But it's at Buffalo, whatever reason, the regular season, this is the one opponent where I do think the Chiefs hold stuff back. I know sometimes people overblow that and act like every week the Chiefs are holding stuff back for the playoffs. To me, that's not always the case.
No.
But when they play Buffalo, I do think they intentionally hold stuff back, knowing that they play Buffalo seemingly every postseason these years.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's like, and I think they still view, and we mentioned this yesterday, Buffalo is still their biggest threat come playoff time. So this is still kind of like a litmus test of the things that you've been fixing and that you've been doing better. Are those going to hold? Are they going to stand there for a little bit? Or are you going to run into the same team again? Because here's the thing. If they win this week and then next week lose to Buffalo again, well, then we're right back to the same thing, which is, they're going to have to beat them in the playoffs, sure, but also they're not ahead of everyone else, which is what we were talking about there for a little while. Like maybe they have started to separate themselves from the rest of the AFC playoff field because that's what it's felt like the last couple of weeks. Lose at Buffalo and it just feels like you're right back in the same thing. 1 seed's really hard. You would have had a worse record than Buffalo and lost the head-to-head. Colts could be 3 games ahead of you by then with only one game left against them on the schedule. So that's why I think they're going to get a little bit further than that. I think the desperation is still in. By the time they get to Dallas, I think they'll be a little more comfortable and maybe you let one slip.
Win total wise over at FanDuel, over under 11.5 wins. So will they win 12 games? Over 11.5 is plus 110 right now.
Okay.
Under is minus 130. And then if you think they can still get to 13 wins, that is 3-1. Remember, they are 4-3 as it sits. So getting to 13 wins is a hell of a run to go on.
That's only 1 loss the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's a hell of a run to go on. And I don't know if there's any team in the NFL right now I would predict, even the Colts, how hot they are. Like, is there any team in the league I think that's going to win, 10 out of their next 11?
I wouldn't predict
I guess
it.
in the Chiefs, it wouldn't be
Honestly,
10 out of 11. You get what I'm saying.
There's too many flawed teams.
Yeah.
There's way too many By the way, if you made me bet on a team to do it, I would bet on the Chiefs. Just because of the way they're currently
best
playing
quarterback,
football.
Best coach.
And again, I pointed out, the next 5 weeks, Commanders at Buffalo, at Denver, the Colts, and at Dallas. That's a hard stretch, especially if Jaden Daniels plays. That's a very difficult stretch of football. The last 5 games of the season are starting to look not so bad. The Texans look a little low. I said not so bad.
the Broncos could be a really, really tough game.
But at least the Broncos and the Chargers you'll still have, but you have them both at home.
Yeah.
Titans and Raiders are your only 2 true road games. The final 5 games of the season. Chargers essentially a neutral site, be neutralized on the road. That one is at home. So like your only 2 road games are Titans and Raiders. Easiest schedule imaginable for the road. Texans look like a team that probably aren't going to put it together. But I'm just saying,
the Chiefs will be favorites in every game the rest of the way, unless they really hit a skid or something. I mean, that's pretty clear. I think at this point, if we were to look at headlines, Even the
in
Colts.
Buffalo,
Yeah, they
favorite.
barring, something drastically changes Monday night and how the Chiefs look or a key injury or something like that. I mean, Buffalo, if you're wondering, they get the Panthers this week. So let's see. What are the Bills are getting Andy Dalton. All right. If their defense struggles against Andy Dalton and the Carolina Panthers, then my thoughts on the Bills in a couple weeks probably change.
Yeah, I think that's more
I
than
think Carolina, like Andy Dalton's going to carve you up.
I got to say, they give up like even 20 points to Carolina. I'm going to have questions about their defense. You want to talk about another team that has a potential, kind of like Dallas, that I think that they will heavily be in two markets. They are either going to be looking for a defensive lineman, similar to the Chiefs, but I think they'll be shopping in bigger waters because, again, their desperation level has to be significantly higher than Kansas City's because the Chiefs have the rings. And they also will be shopping for wide receivers. The difference is I can't be sure they'll actually have those guys in 2 weeks when they face Kansas City a week and a half from now. I don't know that they'll actually get the trade done. And if they do, will those guys be incorporated in their offense the way I think Dallas could make a trade and that person could be a member of their roster and a regular player by then?
Someone says, Cody, you think everybody got to eat is losing on Thanksgiving? Not a chance.
Oh, so I should have gone the week before?
Yeah, on Thanksgiving, when everybody, EGE.
They should all be standing there with the turkey leg together, EGE, and break off a piece of the bird for everyone.
Is that game
right?
on Fox or CBS? If it's on,
it's
CBS.
Dallas. It's absolutely what?
I thought it was CBS.
they don't do it. It's not an automatic thing.
For the
they just-
Cowboys, it's not on Fox.
It's not always automatic
It's
anymore.
Jim Nance and Tony Romo.
Yeah, remember they switched it years and
I
years
know,
ago.
but I
It
just
was
thought
always
I thought for Thanksgiving they maybe held strong.
years ago. It was always NFC on Fox, and they changed that like 3-4 years ago. But they rotated around. Romo back with his old Cowboys there calling the game, huh? Anyway, my point being was usually Fox is the one that did the turkey legs more than anyway. We'll see, man. We got some time for that.
The everybody got to
Thanksgiving
eat.
Day.
If you're looking for a stat for that, Matt McMullen put it out today.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs are the only team in the NFL. They have 7 players with 250 or more scrimmage yards.
Jeez.
Yeah, so Fox game is the Packers Lions.
Okay.
CBS Chiefs Cowboys. NBC. What a burner. Bengals Ravens. Yeah.
Boy, they were on a heater for those first two.
Yeah,
Those first two
should
you're
have been.
like,
Will Joe
In
Burrow be
fairness,
back?
no, he won't be. In
Okay.
fairness, when they scheduled it, that looked like that was going to be a really good Thanksgiving night matchup. Anyway, all right, we were talking about trades and what
for
some
other
other teams might do. A name that Nate Taylor brought up to us. Hey, you want to check in and see how that left foot of Christian Wilkins is doing? So Christian Wilkins, for those that don't know the backstory, he signed that very, very nice contract with the Las Vegas Raiders. A year and a half ago, came over from Miami, injured with the Raiders last year. He had just 2 sacks due to the injury and 11 tackles, got hurt pretty early in the year. He was rehabbing. Ultimately, there still is a dispute between the NFLPA and the NFL and the Raiders and Wilkins and everybody involved here because they claim that he did not follow the rehab process the way they wanted him to. He also, remember, there was the rumor that was out there, report that he allegedly kissed a teammate on the forehead or the top of the head.
Yep.
There's a lot of rumors out there of what actually happened and everything like that. I don't want to dive too much deeper into it, but he would potentially be available later on in the season as not a trade candidate, as in you just sign the guy off the street, but more importantly, it's about the health of the left foot, and then you can get into the other stuff, whether or not teams are not signing him or whatever.
So I think this is going to be a trade deadline of 2 things that I keep an eye out on, and one is Wilkins because I do think that that's a Chiefs-like move in the sense that he's getting offset language in his contract. So anything you pay him, he's getting paid by the Raiders one way or the other. All the reporting before this season was look for week 7 or 8 for Wilkins to be available after his foot. This is the one thing.
I don't know if he's getting paid no matter what anyway. I mean, remember, that's the whole dispute with the,
I know. I'm just
with
saying,
the
like,
NFLPA.
Well, they don't know. They're in the middle of the dispute. You're right, in fairness. But he has offset language in the sense that whether he's being paid by the Raiders or not, you would think he would want a slightly bigger check. But if I were Kansas City, would I ask him how his foot is? Yeah, sure. I'd find out how it feels. He is a player at the biggest position of need who you'd have to give up 0 draft pick compensation for. What about that is not appealing?
Mm-hmm.
It's just money? Okay, well, then we'll figure out the money. That part makes it a challenge, other than the fact that you mentioned. Is there a hang up in the sense that is he going to want someone to offer him a bigger offset of that Raiders deal on the off chance they really do win this fight? And only he knows, Gold, whether or not he followed or listened to the Raiders' advice on this. I will say his foot's obviously injured. people were saying he wasn't going to be available to around this time or a little bit later in the season, and he's not available.
I mean, if there's any locker room that can take a chance, and whether it's
Right now,
quote unquote
yes.
character issues or whatever is exactly going on, it would be the Chiefs organization, also a contender. I think a lot of people wonder though, is he even healthy enough to contribute? But it's something to me they should absolutely explore. A little bit later on in November. This is probably one of those even past the trade deadline because, again, this is not a trade scenario. This could be one of those where Cody, around Thanksgiving, you end up signing him, and he's there for the final 4 weeks of the regular season and a playoff push. I don't know if that's actually going to be something that happens in the next 3 weeks. Or it, to me, feels like more of a Thanksgiving and later type of, hey, what check in, is the foot healthy? Bring him in for a workout.
I mean, calling him now before I get to the trade
sure,
deadline.
And our team's willing to sign him. I mean, there's a lot of speculation about that. So I don't know. He's definitely a name to keep an eye on.
They have not ever shied away. I mean, just as a reminder, they brought Kareem Hunt back from this team, a player who they had cut from their own team after he lied to the team about this other stuff, and seemingly has gone pretty smooth. Mm-hmm. He's the third most effective short yardage back in the NFL. It's the pair of Christians that I'm interested in, because the other part of this that intrigues me is they just activated another corner onto their 53-man roster in Kevin Knowles. Christian Fulton already isn't active on game days as a healthy scratch. Are they trading Christian Fulton? I'll be honest. If you ask me, should they? The answer is yes. They have the corner depth in the system. This signing clearly isn't a fit. Let's just be honest about it. Right now, it's not a fit. Either between the injuries or the way he learned the defense. Andy Reid at one point when he was talking about it, he said he doesn't know the defense and he's hurt. He openly said that essentially about Fulton at some point in training camp. And so, or at the early part of the season. And so if it's just not a fit, a bunch of teams look for corners in the trade deadline. It is a very acquirable contract, and it would give you the money to either take on the contract for a defensive lineman you trade for, or if you signed a guy like Wilkins, would give you the money to pay him part of the money you need. So, I kind of feel like they're setting the stage for trading Christian Fulton.
Maybe. I think they like having depth, though. I know you say he's not playing, but all of a sudden you trade away a corner, so then you have a corner go down, and then you're saying, oh my gosh, we have no depth there. I think Josh Williams is another name to keep an eye on. He's not getting on the field all that much. What was his snap count over the last couple of weeks? So Fulton's been inactive. Josh Williams hasn't been on the field all that much. I think those are two names to keep an eye on if you're in a position where you don't want to give up draft capital to go acquire rotational player, where you say, all right, we can trade somebody, get a what's called a fifth-round pick, fourth-round pick max out of somebody like that, and you use that asset to go make another move to get a rotational defensive player. I
understand the depth because, even if you send in a guy for 14 weeks, imagine where they'd be without Jalen Moore, right?
Yeah, I would get a little nervous.
That part of it, but it just feels like they're kind of setting the stage for it.
They signed Christian Fulton for a reason. They thought he would be a good fit for this football team, and he has not been healthy / not practicing, and who knows right now, Noah Williams' development, I think, has also caused them not to be in any rush to get to Christian Fulton. So you feel like right now this is the healthiest team in football, but it's week 15 all of a sudden, and Jalen Watson, who's unfortunately had a little bit of an injury history, all of a sudden, let's say he is banged up, and then Noah Williams is banged up, and then you're like, uh-oh. Then you're having to sign someone off the practice squad again or something like that. So you're not in a financial spot where if Christian Fulton, you tell me he's inactive for 8 more weeks in a row, where it's really changing all that much, though.
I get it. I'm not saying that there's a huge trade haul for him. It just feels like let's just say you're in a position where you're like, we really don't want to lose too many of our assets for next year's draft. We don't want to go overboard in the trade market. We really like the roster. You can essentially swap Fulton for a bigger need.
Is there anybody they're going to acquire at the deadline, realistically, that's going to cause you to give up significant assets?
No, not likely. Jalen Phillips would be the answer, but I don't think they're going to be swimming in
We're
those
talking
waters.
no better than a fourth-round pick.
But
they're going to acquire.
I don't have to give up a fourth. I can just give up Fulton. Yeah. And my depth on the defensive line is awful right now. They obviously like Kevin Knowles enough to say he is depth on the 53-man roster. They just promoted him. And so, between Williams, who's barely playing anyway, but at least active, Knowles, who they just put on the 53-man roster but would be an inactive on game days, I think they're signaling that they like depth at that position still. Christian Fulton is their only depth. We view it on the outside as better depth because they paid him. What I'm saying is internally they might not feel about it that way because of the way that they've mostly handled him since he's been signed.
It's always the other flip side of it. As much as we're saying, like, oh, you'd be willing to trade this guy or whatever, well, then who's trading for Christian Fulton if there's actual concerns that he's not available?
I don't even know if it's an availability thing because he is healthy. I think now it's just the Chiefs. He's not a fit for the Chiefs. And players like that get traded. Players who aren't participating large in somebody else's offense or defense.
$13 million next year, by the way, Christian Fulton.
It's a full cut, though, option, right?
Like $8 million dead cap.
A little higher than I thought.
At least according to Spot Track. That's we always base this off of that. So
typically the acquiring team would be on the hook for less of that dead cap, maybe half of it or so. So
$15 million guaranteed signing bonus plus this year compensation plus $5 million of his 2026 salary.
It's just one of those positions that people often need. That's all I'm saying. So like I wouldn't rule it out.
I love the $250,000 Pro Bowl incentive that worked into that contract.
I don't think he's getting that one.
I don't think so. I don't think so either.
Seems unlikely.
Coming up in 10 minutes, Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, going to join us. We'll ask him about the rest of the NFL a little bit and maybe if he thinks some of these trade possibilities are out there for any of the contenders to go make a move. Last night, though, NBA returned. I don't know if either of you guys caught any of that. It was awesome to hear the old school NBA theme. They also had the AI version of what's his name doing and tonight's game features the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Houston Rockets. It's an AI version because that individual, I can't remember, his name is surpassing me right now. He's an AI version, right?
Yeah.
He's passed away. Mm-hmm. It's a little weird, but it also sounded kind of cool.
Just
his family must have his estate. I bet you they said, "All right, we'll take the check."
Find a real person who can just do.
They want the old school feel. It felt big. I will say that. Like the broadcast felt big last night. Mike Tirico on the call, Reggie Miller. The NBC does a great job with production. They do it for Sunday Night Football. It felt like they brought that exact same thing.
Feels like I'm going to watch some NBA weeknight games on NBC.
I'm more likely to watch the NBA on a weekly basis, non-playoff time, if it's on NBC. And I think NBC is just Tuesday night, right? And then Peacock has a few nights. Prime does the Friday night games. ESPN will still do the random other nights. Like tonight, I think one of the games is on ESPN. I'm more likely to watch it. It felt big. I thought they did a great job with it. The one question I have is Michael Jordan, who we were all excited to see be part of these broadcasts. At halftime, they had his interview, and I watched the whole thing. And he told this story about he was asked by Mike Tirico, "When's the last time
he hasn't touched a basketball in 2 years?"
When's the last time you shot a basketball or whatever? And he's like, "It's been a very long time." And he said the last time he shot it was he rented some house at the Ryder Cup, and the owner of the house had his grandkids there or whatever. It was like, shoot a free throw. And he said it was the most nervous he's been in years. Now, some people are saying he's lying. I have no idea. It was a great story.
I don't think he's not touched a basketball
It's a great
in 2
story.
years.
That story's great, though. Anyway, and I enjoyed it. It was 3.5 minutes. And then the way they promoted it, it sounds like all they did is film a long hour or 2 hour interview, and then they're just going to give us 3-minute chunks at halftime every Tuesday.
Lame.
That's going to get old pretty quick.
I wanted him sitting in the studio.
Well, I don't know if that was ever going to happen.
I wanted him sitting in the studio for a few minutes being like, I don't know what SGA was doing on that drive.
Well, that's what we all want.
Real analysis.
I don't think we're going to get that.
Not fireside chats with Michael Jordan every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That's way less good than they pitched it as.
They teased it like next week, Michael Jordan's thoughts on load management. Like, okay, I'm curious to see what he has to say. But yeah, I was hoping that he's never going to be in studio. I mean, I just don't think Michael Jordan, who doesn't really do interviews and stuff like that to begin with. So this is pretty unique. But I'm with you where by the time we get to January, I don't want to just hear like basically like the overarching topics of the NBA every week.
Michael Jordan's top 10 power forwards in basketball. I want him to give actual game analysis with a little bit of that, like, I'm Michael Jordan. I'm better than all of you at all of this kind of snark.
It was still cool to hear from him. Yeah. And I thought NBC did a great job last night. Also, a hell of a game to open up their coverage this season. Double overtime win for the Thunder on the night where they raised the banner.
Yeah, pretty
Kevin Durant basically pulled a Chris Webber, but the officials didn't give him the timeout. He got fortunate, very fortunate. See, it turns out officiating's bad in every sport. He clearly called a timeout with no timeouts left. They didn't award it to him, so he didn't get a technical foul or whatever.
Correct. So he got off easy, all things considered. Although I got to say, I don't know, man, that Durant thing in that combination of guys there in Houston might make them a bit salty. I also saw Luka in a loss put up 43.
Yeah, no LeBron.
So we'll see what version of their team.
The Rockets are going to be very good, but they're Fred VanVleet has got that serious injury. I don't know, is he out the whole year, or at least most of the season? I think so. That's a big deal. All right, up next, back to the NFL. Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, joins us. We'll ask him about the potential trade targets for the Chiefs and The Colts sitting there at 6-1. Should we be giving them even more credit? Next.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
That weather's getting ready to be cold, and then you're going to realize that working outside maybe is not all it's made out to be. Look, last week, 16 different new students started their Centric journey. Before Centric, they did a lot of different jobs. They maybe worked outside Gold. They did military work, delivery driving, and they were ready to make a change. And over at Centric, they can.
Yeah, now they're all training for new cybersecurity careers. Side by side, actually, at Centric. Your background doesn't matter. As Cody, you laid out some of the fields these students were in before. It doesn't matter. Your future, though, does. And that's where cybersecurity, frankly, is the future. We've been talking about that for a couple months here. And thinking of months, 4 months. Yep. 4 months, that's how quickly you can get into a brand new career. You don't have to wait years to find out that future.
They're ready to train you in that new career, help you find a career in that new, all of it, over at Centric. Book an appointment at Centric.com today and talk to our guy, Russ Mondry.
Hi, I'm Dallas, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. You know she loves her Shane Company engagement ring, but you also want to surprise her for her birthday, anniversary, or just because she deserves it. Why not get her a bigger diamond with our easy trade-up program? We'll give you the full credit of your original natural diamond purchase toward a new one. Her new diamond only has to be $1 more. You only pay the difference. How's that for an easy trade-up? Visit us in-store or at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel's your home for live betting. So even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to those fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join because FanDuel's giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and nothing says Thanksgiving like football. Verizon is giving you a chance to enter and win 2 tickets and travel for 2 to the Thanksgiving Day football game in Texas. Enter for a chance to win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Texas. Don't miss your shot at the ultimate holiday football experience. Visit a local participating Verizon store in Kansas City to enter the Thanksgiving Day game sweepstakes.
No purchase necessary. 18 plus 50 USDC. Start 10/17 and 11/16. Void where prohibited. For a list of participating stores and official rules, visit Verizon.com/Thanksgiving Game Day Sweeps KC.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24 monthly bill credits on Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER. RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
They load the right side up again. They single the near side. Todd Rice. Touchdown. Kansas City. Rashee Rice, his second touchdown. And is he back, baby? The Chiefs go on a 16-play, 94-yard drive. 3 drives, 3 long touchdown drives.
Mitch Holthus on the call right here on your home for the Chiefs, 96.5 The Fan. And the Chiefs, of course, put up 31 on Sunday afternoon against the Las Vegas Raiders. Get set for the Commanders on Monday Night Football here at Arrowhead. And we go out to the hotline and welcome in our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker. Insider calls are brought to you by Nationwide for your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide is on your side. Rashee Rice is back. Ross, this offense looks like it's as dangerous as it's been in 3+ years.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, that was super impressive. At one point, I think the Chiefs had 29 first downs, and the Raiders had 2, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before in an NFL game. And I think I posted that on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. I mean, that was one of the craziest stats I think I've ever seen. You know, I've told you guys this last week that my Even Money betting podcast co-host Steve Fezzik thinks the Chiefs are the best team. This week he said that he has them 2.5 points better than any other team, which is kind of a crazy thing to say about a team that, you know, has 3 losses already this year. But, you know, he goes by what the underlying metrics say and what he's seeing. And, you know, he feels like they look like the to quote him, the Tyreek Hill Chiefs. And they certainly look very, very dangerous and formidable, really, in the game against the Raiders on both sides of the ball, but certainly over the last few weeks on offense.
And they peeled, you know, they certainly took their foot off the gas, to say the least,
they
in that
mercied
game
him
as well. I mean, I think they could have put up 45.
Well, that's the thing. I think it was smart that they didn't save those points for another game, but it really is funny how the NFL works. As you can go from, you know, concerns about this team and this team can't move it, but then they make a couple changes or tweaks. They get a guy back or 2, and then it just kind of works. It just kind of clicks. You know, you wouldn't think one guy or even 1.5 guys, we could call it, would make this much of a difference. But for this Chiefs offense, getting Worthy back and adding Rashee Rice, it certainly feels like that's just kind of opened everything up for them.
For the teams around them, obviously it's been Buffalo and the Ravens for all of 5 years. Cincinnati sprinkles into the conversation when they get a healthy Joe Burrow, isn't a part of the conversation when he's not. So for it being the same, how serious should we be taking the other ones? Denver, the Colts, the teams who do have winning records right now, outside of Buffalo. We'll get to them in a minute. Which of those teams do you take serious as like an actual threat for Kansas City?
Well, so I would say the biggest threat right now is the Indianapolis Colts. They are really, really good. And I know because they haven't been good in a while, nobody really believes that. And I know because Daniel Jones is their quarterback, nobody really believes that. And those are both fair. But at some point, it's a big enough sample size that we got to go by what we're seeing this year. And what we're seeing this year is that they are awfully, awfully good. I saw some stat, don't quote me on it, because I'm not doing a Colts game this week. I'm actually on my way to the airport to do the Chargers and the Vikings tomorrow night for Westwood One on the radio. But the Colts have scored 3.6 points per drive so far this season. The entire season, 3.6 points. That's the best in over 20 years. So I don't care who you're playing or how you're going about it. If you're averaging over a field goal per drive, that is super, super impressive.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider. You mentioned the Chargers, Thursday Night Football. They're going to host the Vikings. We just saw them take on the Colts, and I know you're getting set for that broadcast tomorrow. Where are you at on LA right now? I mean, I know they got all the injuries. I think that is a huge chunk of this, but we've seen, also I think Justin Herbert's play, go down a little bit, some bad decisions in the red zone against the Colts. Are the Chargers a team that you still think can get this thing corrected and be a factor in the AFC, or is this a game tomorrow night where you're like, hey, they have to find a way to beat the Vikings, otherwise this could be kind of a similar Charger season, what we typically see over the last 5 or 6 years?
I think that's what it's going to be. I think that they'll continue to be on a roller coaster. I think that they'll win, 10 games, let's call it, 10-7, get to the playoffs. And I guess theoretically in the playoffs, Herbert could really play very well. And because of that, they could come out and have a great game and, they could beat anybody in the playoffs. But it's kind of hard to watch them, or him for that matter, and feel like, okay, this is a team that's capable of winning 3 playoff games in a row, or 4 if you include the Super Bowl. I just think that seems unlikely. Now, in fairness, they might get Joe Alt and Trey Pipkins, their 2 offensive tackles, back, tomorrow night. They're going to get Khalil Mack back at some point. So as they get more of these guys back in the fold, that would seem to give them a better chance to be more competitive. But right now, they lost both their running backs. Their O-line, no quarterback in the NFL has been hit more than Justin Herbert. And that just should not be the case. But when you lose both your offensive tackles, who are both really good players, you lose both your running backs, their offense is basically Justin Herbert drop back and be a hero. And he's done it pretty well, I would say. But maybe not, maybe he's not capable of doing it enough.
On the other side of the AFC, we'd mentioned Buffalo before. I wanted to exclude them for a minute, just knowing, history-wise says they're good. Their 4 wins are against Baltimore, New York, Miami, and New Orleans. I don't know how many combined wins those 4 teams have, but it's not a lot. They lost back-to-back games against New England and Atlanta. How much of a, litmus test is at Carolina for them? Are you as high on them as you've been in previous years? What are your thoughts on Buffalo?
Well, so they obviously have the ability and the pedigree to win a bunch of games, but they're in a dogfight now, even just in their own division, with the way Drake May and the New England Patriots are playing. I do think Carolina is a litmus test. I mean, they found a way somehow to win 4 games, which is
impressive.
wild. I think if you ask people walking around in Kansas City how many wins the Carolina Panthers had, they would not say 4 right now, but that is the case. And I think you just need to see the Bills come out and play better, both sides of the ball. Now, they're getting some reinforcements on the D-line. Michael Hoyt and Ogunjobi were both suspended 6 games under the performance-enhancing drug policy. So they're getting some guys back, and I would think that the bye probably was good for them and that they'll come out and be better on both sides of the ball. I actually expect them to really handle the Carolina Panthers, but if they don't, then panic will start to set in.
I did look it up. The Bills' wins are against teams currently a combined 3-24. Those are their 4 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good. But you can't help who you play.
Sure.
But they could have. They weren't even that dominant in those games is the problem.
I want to get your perspective. You've been around the NFL for a long time, Ross. The situation here in Kansas City, I don't know how much nationally it's been discussed and how much you're in tune with the Josh Simmons situation where he now has missed 2 games for this team. It certainly feels like he's likely not going to be back for the game against the Commanders. They have not placed him on the NFI list. The team is really not discussing much of what is going on or a potential timeline. I think everybody has a somewhat of a potential idea of maybe what the issue is. Do you believe, let's say he comes back in 3 weeks, do you believe he just gets the starting job back right away? Or is Jalen Moore, who's playing decent right now, who was signed to a pretty nice contract, a guy you think would hold on to the job?
Well, that's a really good question. And I think coaches are very, very hesitant to mess with what's working. You know, I can tell you 3 times in my career I didn't start the opener, but then a guy got hurt or wasn't playing well or whatever. I went in and we started to play better. And because of that, you know, they ended up keeping me in there even when that guy came back to health. You know, that certainly happened in 04, it happened in 03, it happened in 02, you know, 3 years in a row because, you know, I'm not even saying I was playing that great necessarily, but the team was, and they didn't want to mess with that. And because they didn't want to mess with that, we ended up sticking with me in there, and I think that would be the case. I think, you know, especially the longer and the more time he misses and the longer and the better Jalen Moore plays, you know, the greater the chance that they're going to just leave Moore in there, but then have Simmons available really in a moment's notice should something happen with Jalen Moore where he's not playing as well.
Or if, like, I guess the play dipped enough that there was a justification for it. I mean, those are really the only – because we're starting to look at it as like he would be next year's starter, and then it just adds this whole cloud of where is their offensive line going into this, and that still requires Simmons to make it back with the team here in some fashion this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going a little bit too far, I would say, at this point. But, again, I don't know what Josh is dealing with. I do know this. The Chiefs would probably love if Jalen Moore really plays that well to move on from Jawan Taylor after this year and have the tackles be Jalen Moore
for sure
and Josh Simmons.
No question about that. I know you said you're headed to the airport because you're getting ready to call the Chargers game and head out. So what's the playlist on the airplane? Are you a podcast guy? Or are you just a Swiftie and going all Taylor Swift? What's on the docket?
That's a great question. You know what's funny? I really envy people, I guess, that watch a movie or TV or are like playing like a video game on a plane. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm like I'm full throttle, right? Like, so I will be rewatching the Chargers game.
Okay.
I'll be going through all kinds of notes for Chargers as well as the Titans. I've got other business interests I need to take care of. It's a long flight from Philly to LA. So if anything, I might actually be able to work ahead on Air Force and Army next week because they both have buys this week. But you know what? I probably can listen to some music while I'm while I'm watching Air Force and Army, if I get to that point, because I don't need the audio for those games. I'm watching the college coaching tape. So it might be Taylor's new album. That's certainly a possibility. I saw Old Dominion a couple times recently, so it might be those guys. Or I might just go to like my liked yacht rock songs from the summer.
Okay.
You know, like Christopher Cross, like Sailing, Take Me Away. You know, I'm the world's worst singer, but I want to make you guys like stuff like that, like mellow, relaxing for this flight.
At first, when you were saying you were full throttle, I thought you were doing like high knees like Russell Wilson in the aisle around people.
Yeah. No, I'm not like that. I'm full throttle on studying, being as productive as I possibly can with that time. So when I land in LA, I can have a good meal. I can maybe meet up with somebody. You know, I try to get the work done when I have time to do work. So then other times when I'm with my family or when I like land somewhere, I don't have to do work, if that makes sense.
That's smart. I get it. I appreciate it, Ross. We'll be keeping an eye on tomorrow night, obviously, and we'll check in next week.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
There you go. That's Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL Insider. Insider Calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. Makes sense, man. That is a long flight.
Yeah,
Philly to
that's
LA.
a lengthy one.
What was that, 5.5, 6? Got to be. I mean, it's 3 for us, probably 3.5 for us. Easily.
So I would think,
I mean, here to
hours.
Vegas is like 2 hours and 50, something like that.
So probably something in that range.
Ooh, that's where I will say, like, for being in Kansas City, if you're trying to travel anywhere, we are lucky in terms of
it's only like 3 hours.
It's never going to be much more than 3.5 if you're staying in the continental United States.
It's a lot like driving in Kansas City, where like nothing's more than 30 minutes. Like, you know, you don't really have to extend outside that range very often. 30 minutes and you can get to most parts of the city.
He's watching film, getting ready for his broadcast, man. He does all those Westwood 1 Thursday night games.
He keeps himself busy. There's no doubt about it. You had asked him, and I think it's a very fair question about Josh Simmons. Again, let's take out the what's actually happening part of it, and let's talk football for a minute. Let's just call it 2 weeks, if I'm giving a conservative timeline. As in, it already feels like, and Nate Taylor and others already believe, he's probably out for Monday. We'll know more tomorrow whether or not, if he doesn't practice tomorrow, then you can just put it in stone. He's not playing on Monday. But let's say it's 2 more weeks before he returns. So by that time, it would have been 5 full games he missed, or 4 full games he missed as a member of the Chiefs. I don't think he can just come back and be the starter. I think you have to give that time. Certainly not before the bye week. And would you want to reconfigure the offensive line right before you face Denver and Nick Bonino and some of these other ones? I feel like it would be hey, let's earn a little trust between each other again. Let's see how things go a little bit between each other again. And if Jalen Moore's not screwing it up, there's a chance I think Simmons comes back and he's just not the starter again at all this year.
Right, that's a possibility. A lot of it is going to be dependent on how Jalen Moore continues to perform, and if they feel like there's a significant upgrade that they could have, because you're still trying to play the best 53, or not the best 53, you go, so the best 11 out on the field. And so that is something to keep in mind. But I do believe, based off of the length of time that he potentially can miss, then I think it's very real that he could potentially not play until an injury happens again this season. That doesn't mean long-term he's not the long-term left tackle for this team. That's not what you're saying either.
No,
Josh
I'm just talking about for this
Josh Simmons is the long-term answer still at left tackle. In all likelihood, Jalen Moore is, at what Ross was saying, could be the right tackle for Jawan Taylor next year if they move on from Jawan Taylor. And that is an off-season conversation. But the longer you're out at any position outside of the quarterback, really, and there's been quarterbacks that have gotten, Wally pipped, if you will. But usually the quarterback's the only position where you would say, no, it's your job no matter what. When you come back, you're healthy, it's your job. There's exceptions, as always. But left tackle, Jalen Moore, the amount of money he's making as well, if he continues to play well, then Josh Simmons, whether he comes back in 2 weeks or 6 weeks, I think it'll be in a reserve role.
I think so too, which is, I guess, what makes his situation not less worthy of discussing, because I do still think it's interesting that your first-round pick and starting left tackle is still AWOL from the team, and you're not exactly sure what kind of timeline for his return. Plus, I do still want the depth. So, even if he is in a reserve role, he is still an important player, even if he's not starting every week, for the obvious reasons. What if Jalen Moore becomes exposed because he's a full-time starter and that's not a job he's ever had? What if there's an injury and you have to go to Wanya? You'd much rather have Simmons, obviously, in reserve in that situation. And for the long-term importance of that player, I'd like him back in the building, coming to work every week, and showing the kind of okay, he's going to be here for the long haul. He's going to be here year 2, 3, and 4, so that you know that you're safe and reliable. Because the play, I'll be honest, I saw enough, even in the short window of time in his play, to think, well, that's a long-term left tackle.
Yeah, Josh Simmons is an all-pro potential.
There, yeah.
Potential all-pro left tackle if everything is right and he's out on the field. And so that's the, on the football side of things is the unfortunate part of it as well.
Yeah, and we're still just waiting to find out when he's going to come back.
Has been pretty good filling in. And if he continues to play at that level, then I don't think they would just automatically make a switch. But it's so hard. It's starting to get to. It'll be 3 games on Monday, so you're starting to get to a point where it's a very fair conversation. It's not just a one-off anymore.
I think that's the line. Genuinely, if you're not back by game 4, that's when I think this conversation we're having is true.
But they haven't put him on the NFI list. Now, there's a lot of reasons why maybe they haven't done that. One could be they think he's going to be back sooner rather than later, which I hope is the case, right, for him and for the team. There's also the optics of that, which ensures he misses 4 more games. And so then, at that point, you have to answer some more.
Address it.
You can't put someone on the NFI list and then still say nothing is going on.
I agree.
Then
that might be Brett Veach actually is available to speak about.
Right, and maybe you don't want to go
avoid that. Yeah.
As we mentioned yesterday, when Eric Berry had his situation, I'm not saying they're the same, but when he obviously did not play for a long period of time, and then they basically begged him to come back, he was never on the NFI list. So it's not a guarantee. Just if they put him on the NFI list, at least you would know, all right, he's out for 4 more games. They probably don't have a real timeline yet.
I think that's probably true. That's why they haven't placed him on the list. But they're only one offensive line injury away to having no choice. At some point, the roster crunch is a very real thing. You have a couple of inactives every week. Typically, it's one of the offensive linemen. So for now, it can be Simmons based on this. But you don't normally run an entire season operating with a 52-man roster, not a 53.
Correct.
And so at some point, you would think that they'd be making those kinds of decisions, and we don't know whether or not they're going to do that. But yeah, I think it's one more week. I think if he's not back against Buffalo Gold, then what we're saying will happen in the sense that when he does come back, and I still think he will, when he does come back, that he will not be the starting left tackle for the Chiefs. He will instead be in a backup role, at least for the time being.
Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Up next, some deeper dive on the numbers related to big play offense and how the Chiefs continue to trend in that direction. And we had a little beef going on from a few years ago. I thought it was over, but it's back, and it's a fun one. Beef. We'll explain what that is next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Beautiful weather in Kansas City the last couple of days, and you could be spending that beautiful weather outside on your deck. Thanks to All Weather Decks, who can build you the right deck at the right price. They can schedule a free estimate for you today just by giving them a call, 913-206-1974, or going to allweatherdecks.net. You can see lists of the work they do. Look, it could just be a fire pit. Maybe you're thinking, I'd love to sit outside tonight. Sit the fire pit. The backyard's not what I want it to be. I want a big composite deck. I want an all-season room. I want an outdoor kitchen. They will build whatever your outdoor project of your dreams is, and I know you've been thinking about it because I thought about those things. When we were looking to buy a house, we were looking for an outdoor space that we wanted. We want and worked with All Weather Decks to envision what that dream space can look like. And you can do that exact same thing by taking a look at their reviews, taking a look at their pictures, and seeing for yourself the kind of services that they can provide. So schedule your free estimate today by giving them a call, 913-206-1974, or online at allweatherdecks.net.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
BetMGM is inviting you to charge the field this pro football season. Existing BetMGM customers can have a ball without having to sweat. Log into your account to get a Pro Football No Sweat token. Apply the token to your next pro football bet. If you lose with the token attached, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets. That's right. With the No Sweat token, you get your stake back in bonus bets if you don't win. There's nothing like a fresh set of downs. And that's just what BetMGM is offering if you don't win with a no-sweat token. Find your favorite matchup and be part of the action. Make this pro football season one for the ages. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's football season and I can't wait for the games. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 35 points, I save 35 cents per gallon when I spend $35 on groceries. The more we score, the more I save only at Hy-Vee. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
It's game day, and nothing says Chiefs football like the aroma of a tailgate grill. Kick off your pregame party with a Kingdom Meat Bundle from Hy-Vee. Get 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 pork chops, 4 bratwurst, and 4 chuck patties for just $30. Plus, get a 10-cent per gallon fuel saver. Toss in some chips and dip, side dishes, and Chiefs-themed baked goods. Score the extra point with your favorite tailgate beverage from Hy-Vee Wine and Spirit. Just one stop for all your game day needs, only at Hy-Vee.
The fastest cars, burnouts, car show, barbecue competition, and Chris Jansen live Saturday night. Boost and Barbecue. This Friday and Saturday at Flying H Drag Strip in Odessa. Kids 12 and under free. Tickets at boostandbarbecue.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. because health is a long game and it's yours to win. Now, here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi? Learn more at depend.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Rashi Rice. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. JT filling in for Drew. I guess the gig is up. I can no longer claim he just no-showed. He's actually at T-Mobile Center.
Doing work?
He is shooting basketballs presently.
Oh, so not doing
If you go to our Instagram channel, you guys can follow some of the coverage. Kramer and Drew are out at Big 12 Basketball Media Days, which is at T-Mobile Center. And I already saw some content. Yeah, Drew was shooting shooting on the KU hoop, it looked like. And then the Arizona mascot came in the middle of the shot, right?
Okay,
as he was
let's
shooting.
see.
Yeah.
Oh, he's shooting on the mini hoop.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think they're letting him shoot on the main.
I thought you were making it sound like he was shooting on the real hoop.
No, I don't think they let him do that. I don't know. But anyway, you can check social throughout the day. Drew will be out there, and tomorrow we'll maybe talk a little college basketball, find out some of the best things that he heard, obviously, from KU and K-State there in the Big 12.
Make him admit tomorrow.
Wasn't he the one that thought he could shoot, or not shoot, but like play golf pretty well and make it to Augusta? Yeah, well, maybe he thinks he can make the NBA too at this point.
I mean, he did just tell us he had interest at the
Someone
D3
did ask,
level.
is he in shirts? He playing shirts or skins? He is fully clothed, thank goodness.
Make him admit that first shot that they shot on social media he didn't make. Ask him how many shots it took him to make. He will tell you it was the first shot. He will Michael Jordan and be like, "Oh no, man, first shot."
You don't buying that he made the first? That's the first one Kramer shot?
No. Come on, man.
I'll ask him tomorrow. Yeah.
Find out how many shots it took.
I mean, it is on a small goal. I mean, he might have just made it right away. He took one dribble, shot up, swoosh. The fact that it was a swoosh as well.
It's a good shooting stroke. I'll say that. Like, as in, I think that, like, it looks like he shot a basketball before, unlike the video this show put out.
Of you and I?
Of you and I playing basketball. So I can't really, not to be judgmental there for sure, because we obviously
Someone says he's not shirtless or pantless. Again, no, he is fully clothed.
He looks professional.
You can tell it took more than one shot because if you turn the volume on, Kramer finally says, "There it is." So
maybe just said there it is because he made the first one.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many shots tomorrow. Let me know.
All right. Coming up in 20 minutes, we will get to the trash of the day. Cody, by the way, keeps saying, let me know. Cody's not on the show tomorrow. That's why we have a substitute teacher. Remember? Substitute teacher, no Professor Tapp segment.
I got to go
tomorrow.
on a field trip, try to keep kids in line.
We have a substitute teacher for Cody to give us a lesson, which should be very interesting.
Do you know what the lesson's about yet?
I have no clue.
Do I need to provide them a lesson plan?
I told the individual that is subbing for you to have a lesson ready that's not sports related, and I said that's all. That's the only parameters.
Okay.
Dang, I could have filled in real well for you, Cody.
Yeah, you're a substitute teacher anyway.
Yeah, JT actually is.
If we were off on one day, he could have absolutely done it. Yeah. I'll be heading to the Martha Lafitte Nature Sanctuary tomorrow.
Where's that?
Liberty, it says.
Never heard of it.
Okay, I'm sure it's beautiful.
We'll find out.
Weather good and everything for you. I think,
yeah, it's supposed to be nice outside.
Perfect.
He had spent all weekend trying to convince me to go.
We'll get to some beef between a pair of individuals that worked together, 2 years ago, and for whatever reason, both taking shots at one another again, but I'm here for it. It was kind of fun yesterday. We'll let you know what that is. You'll hear some of the audio in just a bit. But what is also back closer to 2022 is the big play offense for Kansas City. Just some more numbers to put behind it. I think we've all watched the last few weeks and recognized that big play opportunities are back with this offense. But the most big plays through week 7 of the NFL season, the Bears actually have the most, averaging 8 of them per game. The Rams have the second most, then the Bills, the Ravens, Seahawks, Vikings, and then the Chiefs. the Chiefs are in the top 10 of the league in big plays per game, and I would argue they could have had a few more against the Raiders.
7th total.
Yeah, 7th overall. Yep.
So when you look, I got to be honest, that is coming with more rushes above 10 yards than I was anticipating. This is what's the most fascinating part about it. The Chiefs have 25 rushes of 10 or more yards. When you look at the rest of the league, that's one of the better teams in the league. The New York Jets have more than that. Okay, kudos to them. The Baltimore Ravens and the Chicago Bears and Denver Broncos have more rushes of 10-plus yards. That's it. Are you surprised that the Chiefs are in the top 10 in rushes over 10-plus yards? So what this is telling me is
accounted for a couple of those.
Mahomes is just creating 10-plus yard plays, big plays constantly, because it's rushes over 10 yards, receptions over 10 yards, and the reception or 20 yards. And they're certainly well over that category as well. Finally, man, just finally. Because it's not just the rushes that are key in that category. They're obviously one of the better teams in the passing game, too. And I expect the passing numbers to increase moving forward the rest of the way. I expect Rashee Rice to get yards over 20-plus yards. They needed this for a while. This is what's going to make them in that 30-plus points per game the rest of the way. I think they're going to average 30 points per game the rest of the season. Don't you? Does anyone expect less?
On average, yeah. Yeah, on average, I think so.
I'm not saying they'll score 30 in every game, but I think they'll average 30 points per game the rest of the way.
I think that's very realistic, and based on the opponents they're playing, you get into that, even though we feel good about the defense, there's some of those games they will have to. Not every game, but there will be some opponents during
Dallas,
the rest that you will feel like you got to get to 30. And I know this defense held the Lions. That's the part where you look at on top offense and the Lions to 17. So maybe you think, all right, well, they don't have to. But there will be a game. I don't know when. Maybe it's the Bills. Maybe it's the Colts based on their offense right now, where you'll feel like the Chiefs have to get to 30 to beat the Colts. I don't know. That's what it seems like based on what we're seeing from Indy right now. So there'll be some point where that is a requirement. Yeah.
There are only 4 teams on there. So not a small amount. 4 of their remaining games are against teams currently ranking in the top 10 in defensive points per game. So it's like, can they hold them down? Houston is 1, Denver twice, and not Buffalo. Who's the other one? No, I'm trying to. Indianapolis.
Okay.
Team that we mentioned.
And remember, last year the
top
Chiefs were only scoring 22.6 points per game, which was 12th. I think they finished 12th in the league.
Somebody asked, is Mahomes 23 of the 10-plus yard runs? Believe it or not,
he feels like he's well over half.
Yeah, probably. I'm not saying he's not, but so what? That's a real part of your offense. We wouldn't, if this were the Buffalo Bills, if this were the Baltimore Ravens, would anybody even ask that question? Would you even mention it as a potential knock? No, they wouldn't. Patrick Mahomes this season is on pace for 700 yards rushing and like 12 rushing touchdowns. It is a part of their offense. It counts all the same. Do I say do they have to keep getting from those areas? Honestly, you think that Mahomes is getting 10-plus yard rushes now. We talked about how having Rashee Rice back makes it easier for Travis Kelce, how having Rashee Rice makes it easier for Xavier Worthy. What do you think? The rushes are going away? You think the teams can afford a spy against what the Chiefs are currently rolling out on offense? You think that they can just dedicate a linebacker to standing around watching Patrick Mahomes? Because I sure as hell don't think they can. I think genuinely that got harder for them. That got harder for teams to guard Patrick Mahomes in the running game. Those runs might actually be easier for him to get the rest of the year, not harder. And so, if that's the case, well, then, yeah, I do think that there's more of those coming.
913-586-7965 says, yeah, you guys don't think they're going to win out. The defense isn't giving up 30 in any game remaining. I don't know about that. I feel great about the defense. I don't know if I
think the Colts could get 30 against them.
They're just going to win, 10 in a row. It's the NFL would be the pushback. I on the surface, I agree with the point, which is we all think the offense can average 30. We all feel good about the defense. Top 10 defense, top 10 offense. They should win a majority of their games going forward. I agree with that. To say that they're just not going to lose, it's the NFL. I mean, there's not a team in the league right now, including the Chiefs, that I think you should just say, oh, yeah, they're just not going to lose the rest of the season. It's the NFL. Look at the Jags. I mean, the Jags game to me is my example of that. The Chiefs played great for the most part, outdid them in everything but the pick six, essentially, and one blunder on a Trevor Lawrence play where he fell down and got back up. And so that was a game where we all agree, they played better than the Jags, and they still lost. So weird stuff happens in the NFL. I don't know if it's going to be against Buffalo. It's going to be against the Cowboys. It's going to surprise us. It's going to be the rematch against the Chargers. I don't know. The Chiefs, to get to 14 wins and not lose a game the rest of the season, I will take that bet, I guess is what I would say.
This might surprise you as it relates to the big play. And we will talk more about where we think the Chiefs' next loss is coming. Kareem Hunt, I mentioned a big play is a run of 10 or more yards. Kareem Hunt has a run of 10 or more yards in 3 of the 7 games this season. Isaiah Pacheco has a run of 10 or more yards in 6 of the 7 games this season. They aren't all just coming from Patrick Mahomes. Those guys are putting those plays on paper for the team. Rashard Smith essentially has no carries on the season, so I won't mention him for this purpose of the rushing. But Kareem Hunt has had one in 90% of the game, at least one in 90% of the games this season, and Kareem Hunt has had him in about half the games this season. They are contributing to what they would call the big play, and honestly, same thing. Those should also get easier. The Chiefs are going to be one of the better big play offenses this season. That remains pretty obvious.
Yeah,
they're one of the better yards per play, better big play. They're the better offenses in the league. It makes sense.
Yeah, they will be favorites in every game. For those that are saying they're going to win out, yeah, they will be favorites. They will have a chance to win every single game. They will be favorites in every single game. That doesn't mean it is going to happen, though, right? Like there's upsets in the NFL happen all the time. You have a bad day at the office, an injury happens in game all of a sudden, and things change. But I think updated win total wise, preseason I had them as a 14-win team. It'd be very easy for me to sit here and say, because I predicted 14 wins before, that I still think they're getting to 14 and they're just not going to lose a game. No, my updated number is like 13 or 12. And that, by the way, I think still wins the division.
Considering they started 0-2 and 1-3 feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to say for sure. 10-plus yard runs, where do you think, somebody asked me, where do you think Isaiah Pacheco ranks this season in that?
Middle of the road, I don't know.
In the NFL? Yeah, he's 17th.
Okay, yeah.
He's behind guys like Taylor and Achane and Javonte Williams and Bijan Robinson, but he's perfectly fine. He's like middle of the road. Middle of the NFL season, but they also have a few from Kareem Hunt as well.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 8 minutes or so, but let's go to Denver/New York because...
A little of both.
Yeah, well, it started with Sean Payton. Sean Payton was talking after their come-from-behind win against the New York Giants. And I think this was on Monday, so not like literally right after the game, but on Monday he was just asked more follow-up questions. And Sean Payton was speaking about how they were happy Jackson Dart, or weren't happy Jackson Dart was the quarterback.
I have a ton of respect for that organization. I spent 4 of my early years there coordinating Super Bowl, first game in this stadium before 9/11. Close with the mayor, Tisch family. And, they found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mayer not too long ago, and I said we were hoping that change would have happened long after our game.
No, he's not wrong. We said the same thing here in Kansas City. We said, thank goodness they didn't switch to Jackson Dart, and the Chiefs at that time weren't playing great football yet, and they got to face Russell Wilson, who was terrible. Thank goodness Russell Wilson carved up the Cowboys the week before, although they would have switched to Jackson Dart for the Chiefs game.
Sure, and it would have been a more difficult game.
It doesn't mean the Chiefs wouldn't have won, but it would have been a much different story as far as competitiveness, a 22-9 win. Remember, for Kansas City in the first half was one of the worst halves of football you've ever seen.
And then they dominated the second half.
They did. And so Sean Payton's correct. Now he said it out loud. So then Russell Wilson, it gets back to him. And Russ usually plays the straight and narrow, perfect thing, on
I just
social.
love people and love life, and I'm a nice guy. And he's got a very much like
unlimited,
even keel energy guy.
He tweeted after this video went viral the other day, classless, ... but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. Sunglass, cool emoji, laughing emoji, let's ride.
Honestly, pretty good shot.
They're still beefing.
Didn't know you were still
they
bounty
can't
hunting
stand
15
each other.
plus. They hate each other. Look, there's no reason for Sean Payton to take this shot, I guess is what it is. Sean Payton is an NFL head coach. Typically, when it's a starter, a guy who played for you.
Yeah.
Like if he never played for you in a weird way, people understand it and respect it more. Hell, Mike Tomlin just had one of the deepest digs on Anthony Richardson not that long ago when he had said he had told his defensive line to leave him upright. So he didn't leave
that's
a football
That's
game.
way worse than what Sean Payton
But
did.
at least it wasn't. Sean Payton, it's worse in my opinion because he played for the man. He was a player for you. You don't have to take shots at a guy who actively played in an NFL game for you, do you? Damn.
I mean, he didn't have to, but I also think, him saying that, we were hoping and we didn't have to face Jackson Dart is essentially what he said. It's what we all know, by the way. We all know that that's the case.
Pretty good insult.
Now,
Russell
good
Wilson,
on Russ
right?
for responding back.
Yeah,
and
stand up for yourself.
I have no issue with how Russ clapped back. And yeah, bounty hunting 15 years later is a great comeback.
It's a pretty good line. Do you think how long do you think he sat on crafting that one?
Sierra helped him or whatever.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
You helped him. Like, I'm just curious how long he sat there thinking, what am I going to go with here?
Yeah.
On Sean Payton's end. And look, Sean Payton's going to claim I wasn't taking a shot.
I don't have an issue with either individual in this whole thing, I guess is what I'm saying. Russ, you have every right to respond back the way you did.
Yeah, you're allowed to defend yourself.
I don't think Sean Payton said the worst thing on earth either. I was like, okay.
What the hell happened there? How did that go?
It was never his guy.
And it was not a good fit. And obviously Russell Wilson wasn't the same player by the time he got to and was around the Broncos. They have to
remember initially the first 5 weeks of last year when Russ was cooking in Pittsburgh, everybody was saying, this makes Sean Payton look terrible.
Yeah.
Now, Bo Nix looked great with Sean Payton too, so then you say, hey, you wanted his guy. But then Russ, after 5 weeks or whatever, or I guess it was it Russ for 5 weeks and then they went to Justin Fields, or was it Fields and then they went to, I can't remember the order.
Problem is Russell Wilson is now on his fourth straight team in which he is no longer the starter. They get better.
Yeah.
As in, he left Seattle, they became a better team. He left Denver, they became a better team. He left Pittsburgh, they are now better. Now they benched him in New York and they're better. It's not a great, Russell Wilson doesn't have a lot to back up on the football field right now from that perspective. But firing a bounty gate shot, I think, is pretty solid.
It's crazy how people now, especially
solid.
younger NFL fans, are going to remember Russ as this guy that just stinks. People forget he was really, really good the first 6-7 years of his career in Seattle. Really, really good. But it's a what have you done for me lately kind of thing on a much smaller scale than what we discussed with Bill Belichick, where it's legacy-wise, people are going, it absolutely is hurting.
His Hall of Fame case.
It absolutely is.
He's going to have to sit in there and everyone's going to be like, but remember when he stunk? Right? Remember how he stunk at the end? Was Russell Wilson all that good?
Unlimited diarrhea.
Or was he just on, was he just on good teams and managing?
No, Russ was playing
They're
some
going to
very
start talking
good
about him like he
football.
was Joe Flacco.
Yeah, he was very good in Seattle.
I don't disagree. But
his last year in Seattle, it came quick. His last year in Seattle was very evident he wasn't the same quarterback. And look, we all thought when the Broncos traded for him that the Broncos at the time it was actually a smart decision to trade for him. Bad decision at the time even to give him the contract. And then it all blew up in their face. It was fine
they
for
gave
me.
The contract before he played a snap.
Going back, I get why the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson.
Absolutely.
What they did not have to do, though, is give him a mega extension on top of it. That's where they really screwed it up on, they compounded their problem.
Yes, because he had 2 years left under contract.
Yeah.
They could have just said, Russ, we traded for you. We gave you all the first-round picks. Let's see what you got. And they could have washed themselves away from this issue instead. Little news and notes in the NFL. I know people are always asking about injuries. Jets quarterback Tyrod Taylor, who had a chance to start this Sunday, is now considered day-to-day with a knee injury. So just as a warning, I would tell you, there's a chance Justin Fields might get one more start for the currently winless New York Jets, who Cincinnati has this week. I was kind of thinking if it was going to be Tyrod Taylor, I was going to Tyrod Taylor. I was going to maybe lean towards them to get Cincinnati. I don't know. They just call him day-to-day. That was the report, according to
because their
Adam
owner
Schefter.
Basically came out saying Justin Fields shouldn't start for the team.
He said, he's like, I like the job Aaron Glenn's doing. What's he supposed to do? And we got a quarterback who stinks.
Aaron Glenn
He didn't say that exactly, but that's pretty much what he said.
Aaron Glenn said he doesn't want to give the Bengals a competitive advantage, so he's not going to reveal whether Fields or Tyrod are starting. So that's also what some of this is. I
got to be honest.
It'll be Tyrod.
Bengals don't care. Bengals don't care. What do you think? This is the part where coaches are just like, Gold, do you think there's a competitive advantage in knowing whether Tyrod Taylor or Justin Fields is starting? They both stink. There's not kind of competitive advantage. Nobody's like, you got us on that one.
They're on a bye week after this as well.
Yeah. They'll make the quarterback change after that, maybe. We'll see. But I don't care.
You're right. And deep down, it doesn't matter.
No.
Let's get to it, JT.
Trash of the day.
All right, go to Tokyo. 4 people were arrested there. They're trying to smuggle some items, some things. This is a new one. We've heard of some bizarre smuggling turtles or snakes or this is a little bit different. So Japanese authorities arrested 1 man and 3 women after police broke up a scheme to smuggle gold into the country from Hong Kong. So the main suspect is accused of having these 2 women wear underwear with almost 18 pounds of concealed gold powder on a flight. This was worth around $650,000. 18 pounds of concealed gold powder is worth $650,000.
Well, I mean, feels
the
like
3 women who already knew each other reportedly received the golden underwear from another man in Hong Kong. He faces charges linked to smuggling, as do the women, for their roles in this scheme. Golden powder. 18 pounds of that? That's the rate?
Dude, do you know how much gold is a troy ounce right now?
Well, gold stock is higher than ever, man. Yeah.
Like just gold and out, like, and they I don't know why they measure precious metals in troy ounce, which is actually not like a regular ounce. I don't remember what the difference is. I just know that they do that.
Nerd.
$4,000 an ounce gold. So if for some reason you just got like, your grandparents' old necklace, it's going for $4,000 an ounce for gold. So yeah, I'm not surprised this person was trying to smuggle gold dust in underwear. That tracks.
Gold powder.
That's a lot though. Who caught that on the X-ray machine? You
Well,
walk through
I'm
and you're
guessing
like,
fairly easy.
That's a lot of.
They're probably like, there's a lot of this underwear. There's something popping up on each one of theirs underwear.
How does that? I want to know what that looks
Do they
like.
have to do they have to say like, hey, we gotta pat you down. Okay, we pat you down. And could they feel the gold powder?
And what do you say as an excuse? You just
it's 18 pounds, so.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot. You should have used more people, I guess, because you can't have 9 pounds each in your underwear. What I'm asking, Gold, is like, if you'd had quite a bit in there, could you have just been like, sorry, I haven't been, maintaining myself well lately. What excuse can you have to try to avoid like the pat down part turning into like we're taking you into the back room for a full search?
Yeah, I don't know.
Baby powder? I don't know. Oh yeah, that's baby powder. I put it on me. I chafe a lot.
I don't know if it's so obvious. Like, if anybody listens that works for TSA, like how obvious would this be when you look on it? Now, this is in China, so their system's a little bit different, but they still have security. It's not TSA,
Sure.
But like, how obvious would that be if I had gold powder in my underwear? How obvious is this when I walk through?
I think it'd be fairly obvious you had 9 pounds of it.
Right, but if I just
Versus it was like, let's say you had an
ounce of it, would you know?
I think an ounce, no one's catching it.
$4,000.
But then an ounce at a time for all those pounds, you're gonna need that's a lot of people trying to smuggle gold powder through. And a lot of handlers a lot of smugglers you got to pay,
Yeah.
Is it safe to have it down there? Like, I don't even know.
That's a great question, JT. Can't say that I know.
I'm just saying, it feels like it's unsafe.
The text line, we're not doing that joke, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much. There's a few of you there. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Oh, I thought it was 2 women. I'm sorry. They said 3 women.
Three.
That's why someone says don't do math. 3 women is 6 pounds each.
Someone
I thought it was
gold.
2 women.
Yeah, someone else says,
my bad.
Alex, don't you carry around 180 pounds of gold every day? That's right. Stock is up on gold. Stock is up.
You should quit this damn job if you've got 180 pounds of gold somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just tell you right now, Gold, if that's what you've got carrying around,
Someone's
quit your job.
surprised there wasn't gold smuggling the gold. That would have been golden.
Do you own anything made of gold?
No.
Not a single thing?
Do I personally?
Not a necklace, not a bracelet?
Actual gold? No.
Yeah.
No.
Seems kind of weird,
Yeah, but my last name's gold. It means I just have gold bars chilling in the house.
I just feel like you should have one bouillon,
I wish.
Like one little ounce.
I wish. Yeah, I went panning for gold in Colorado Springs once. The biggest waste of
I did
time.
that once.
Biggest waste of time.
Yeah, I
you're
did as a
there
kid.
and you're freezing your butt. You're in the boots. It's cold. The water's ice cold right off the mountain, and just to get the tiniest little flake, maybe if you're lucky.
The one I did was like downtown 4th of July for Breckenridge, and they put a couple of small pieces of real gold. I think is like part of like the draw, but then they would also put like pyrite, fool's gold, right? So you're just like paying for gold. Like, what a waste of time as a kid, just like having you like goof around.
Okay, I know this is
What's fool
wild.
gold going for an ounce? What's the rate on that?
I'm just thinking, like, what if one of the ladies had to take like a little fart, and all of a sudden they just blow the dust out?
now it's an Austin Powers movie for JT all of a sudden.
Yeah. Well,
I think
this came up. This came to my head because of Dusty Likens asking me and Cody the question he asked us in the bullpen.
I wasn't there. What did he ask?
He came through and asked Spec, me, JT, stopped Alan, the program director over at KNBZ. Have you ever sharded?
He just asked that randomly?
Yes.
To every person he saw on the main floor.
What was the reason behind it?
Apparently, Bob's never done it.
Oh. I don't buy that.
I don't believe that anybody's.
I don't buy that.
Spec said he hasn't either.
Anybody that's over the age of 30, there's no.
It's okay to.
There's no way anybody over the age of has never had that happen once where you thought you were good. You thought you were good.
I don't believe. I believe it's a 100% of society rate. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Again, if you're over a certain age too, I think it absolutely has happened.
Someone says pyrite is worthless. I figured, man.
All right, up next, we'll get into the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Thank you, text line. Some of those are pretty hilarious. We'll talk about something that you and I have advocated for a few years, and it now sounds like there's momentum from the league as the fall league meeting is going on. We'll tell you what that is next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
BetMGM is inviting you to charge the field this pro football season. Existing BetMGM customers can have a ball without having to sweat. Log into your account to get a pro football no sweat token. Apply the token to your next pro football bet. If you lose with the token attached, you'll get your stake back in bonus bets. That's right, with a no sweat token, you get your stake back in bonus bets if you don't win. There's nothing like a fresh set of downs. And that's just what BetMGM is offering if you don't win with a no-sweat token. Find your favorite matchup and be part of the action. Make this pro football season one for the ages. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Airman here for Midwest Heating. Now, we like to approach life in a lighthearted manner, but with the projected rise in natural gas prices, this winter's heating bills may be no joking matter. Many old furnaces have efficiency ratings as low as 60%, which means you're literally burning money. So think about this. Midwest Heating has a variety of high-efficiency Lennox systems that can heat your home, drastically improve your air quality, and boost that efficiency as high as 99%. Saving that kind of money each month will be a nice help for the other bills in your life. Even better, Midwest offers up to $1,800 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems and up to 60-month 0% financing with approved credit. Dial 943-8787 or go to MidwestHeating.com for complete details. Now, for 7 decades, it's the same story. Trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Let me tell you about this new Pretzel Cheddar Club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Pros don't just show up. They prove how it's done, with precision and without shortcuts. Makita tools are built the same way, with a dedication to lasting quality, trusted performance, and results that reward your effort year after year. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where did I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5.
Brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net. I am glad to see the text line not be too proud to admit that they've sharded before. Every person on the planet, I think, should not be afraid to admit that has occurred.
If you're over a certain age, I think there's no way it hasn't happened to you once. Whether you were drinking, whether it just you
had a little too much confidence.
Yeah, you just didn't trust it. You trusted it too much, I should say. Well, it's happened. Anyway, all right. Back to some Chiefs football and something that could impact every team in the NFL. Fall meetings are going on in New York, and the NFL's Troy Vincent told owners yesterday, "Hey, it may be time for you to reconsider the 4th and 15 or 4th and 20 alternative to the onside kick this offseason." This has been discussed a little bit. You and I have said for a few off seasons now, this should be an option for any team. Onside kicks now, because of the safety adjustments, it's like 2 or 3 a season, maybe, that you convert. And I'm not saying it should be 50-50 either, okay?
No, it should be
it's
hard.
supposed to be very difficult, but also it's a waste of time. And so I love the idea, and especially if you think you have one of the elite quarterbacks, you should love the idea.
Oh, hell yeah.
That if you are down and it's the fourth quarter and the Chiefs are down 14 points and they get a touchdown to make it a 2-possession game with 12 minutes to go, they should be able to say, hey, 4th and 20 or 4th and 15, 4th and 20, we're going to try to convert. And penalties apply on that play too. So pass interference, it's an automatic first down. You convert and you get the ball. I love this. One, as a viewer, I think it'd be way more exciting. Team is down 14 because again, there has to be some restriction. You can't do this in the first quarter, okay, or first
Not that
half.
anybody would. They wouldn't put themselves in that spot.
I don't think so. It's got to be something you can only do in the fourth quarter, and you got to be you got to be behind a possession in the fourth quarter, or at least a possession behind in the fourth quarter. I love this. I know some people think, well, no, like this is going to allow teams to get back in games, but that's kind of the point.
Look, in every other, not in every sport, like I understand basketball doesn't have like a 10-point line, right? So there's not, but they have the full court heave. You can hypothetically still give yourself a Hail Mary chance at the end of a game that, like, you kind of want a chance to come back. I understand football is unique. In baseball, you have to just keep hitting. You just have the same number of outs. You don't have like a different, but Gold, if you're down 10 runs in the bottom of the 10th, you can still hit through your entire lineup and actually have a chance to do it. Is it a long shot? Sure, but at least you can still do it. In the NFL, it could be a close game the entire time. A team goes down and scores, or let's say you're down 10 and you score last minute, but it's been a close enough game. I should have a chance to actually compete in this. The onside kick is useless. It is a meaningless play. So either just tell me there's no way to come back from a game late and you should just kneel down and give up, or give a team.
The Broncos just came back from down 19-0, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, in the final possession is in, if I can't get an onside kick, either eliminate the play and just say, sorry, you can't come back, oops, or give me an actual chance to do it. They also said they're going to use, maybe they're looking at AI as a way to help referees. I don't know how that'll go.
Oh, boy.
I don't know that I love the sound of that.
Then people are going to come up with new conspiracies that it somehow got hacked and all this stuff.
They wrote the algorithm in favor of Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Look, I
the first response on this onside kick thing, alternative on Twitter to the report from Troy Vincent, this Mark Maskey, I think, is who tweeted out. One of the first responses, yes, 4th and 15, so we can watch the Chiefs never lose a game again because they'll get a flag for nonsense on the defense.
Admit it,
people
that's
are
the
just
first text.
It's like the 7th response. Yeah.
So I'll admit, it is decidedly an advantage for better teams. I would argue that everything you do on a football field is an advantage for better teams. So this would fall right in line with that. I could be talked into, if they wanted to make one change, Gold, I could be talked into that for the 4th and 20 play, as an untimed play, that it is only the yardage, not a spot foul for that. So pass interference would be a 15-yarder, illegal contact would be a 5-yarder, but I still got to do the 4th and 15. I still have to earn the first down. Does that make sense?
So you're saying, let's say it's 4th and 20, onside kick alternative, Chiefs are down, they decide, all right, we're going to go for this, whatever they're going to call it, onside alternative. Patrick Mahomes drops back to pass, roughing the passer, passes incomplete, 15-yard penalty.
It is now 4th and 5, and I still have to get
You don't want the
5.
automatic penalty.
But here's
where
then I might illegal contact the hell out of him on the first
That's
three
what I'm
plays.
saying. That's where it's like, as much as you're saying you don't want the automatic, if I'm a defender and I know I'm about to give up 20 yards, well, then absolutely I'm tackling the guy.
Sure.
I mean, in that scenario.
You're essentially giving him a free pass at the penalty. That exists in the game, though, I will say.
Yeah.
There are moments in a game in which a player might take a penalty in order to do it. I'm saying I'd hear it out. I'm not saying it's something I'd call for. I think I'd rather just prefer don't commit a penalty. Don't commit pass interference.
Yeah.
If it's 4th and 20, that's a bad idea.
My wrinkle on this would be if, in fact, they vote on this offseason. It sounds like they will. How about there has to still be other than you don't get the ball like on an onside kick, there needs to be a possession penalty. What I mean is 4th and 20 and I don't get it. I have to attempt my own 4th and 20 from my own 15 or 10. I want my opponent, if they stop me, they're already in field goal range to add another 3 points.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there has to be a strong penalty. I should not be doing the 4th and 20 from midfield.
Here's what I think should happen. I think the 4th and 20 should be from the 25 or 30, but it just resets. It's like getting the onside kick. I got to go back to the 30 and start my drive. Because here's the problem. It's like if I started at the 4th and 20 starts from the 20 Gold, and I get the 20, I'm already in field goal range. I'm at the damn 40. Have you seen the way NFL kickers are making it? I'm 5 yards away from tying this thing up. I think you get the 4th and 20. It is an untimed play, kind of like an onside kick. If I get the 20, then the drive starts like I just kicked the ball out of bounds. I still got to start at the 30. The 20 yards are irrelevant from the distance perspective. I just got to get 20 yards.
See, that's where it gets too tricky, though, because if I, on the 4th and 20, if I score a touchdown off it, you're telling me that doesn't count? I got past the 20 yards. Oh, I just got to run out of bounds? That doesn't work. No, that has to, that play would, my understanding is with the onside kick alternative, 4th and 20, if I get 35 yards, then I get 35 yards. It's not like, oh, you go back, That they don't do that any other part of the game, period. So I don't think that would be what they would.
Speaking of AI, do you think ChatGPT can tell me what percentage of 4th and 20s are converted in the NFL?
I'm sure it can figure that out
Because
for you historically, yeah.
That's what I'm kind of curious about at this point. I understand, like, I guess I'm open to other alternatives. Gold, I did just go through the same thing you did and look, the amount of tweets accusing this of being a Chiefs-related rule issue is kind of weird, and you guys all have a problem. Is it bots at this point?
A lot of
you
it
have
is.
a thing that someone says, the Chiefs need all the help. And you're like, what?
No, a lot of
They're
it.
not even the team requesting this rule.
We're all on social media. We all see how, especially on Twitter in particular, whether it's for sports or anything else, it's full of bots. I mean, a lot of these things are not real people arguing. They're people with 4 followers and an egg for an account profile photo, and they're arguing stuff that's, programmed basically. So
I guess what percentage of it's a long shot do you want? They still do have to finish the drive, either score the touchdown or those things, and to go into it. So, there is a lot doing this. There have been 4th and 20 or more are converted at, there's been 2 of the last 39 converted.
Okay, that's fine.
That feels about right.
It's not supposed to be something that should be happening all the time.
No, that's cool.
But it's way more exciting to watch than an onside kick, is my argument. And it sounds like the NFL, again, Troy Vincent, who's with the league office, they're starting to push owners to, hey, we should start doing this. And I think there's a real chance it passes in March.
I think they're just tired of, for the same reason they changed the kickoff rule to make it so that people return kicks and it's working. Gold, they don't want a play that is essentially useless. Yeah. Right now, the onside kick is a useless play. We're all just standing there we know it's not going to get recovered. We're all watching the same thing, and they try to turn the ball on the side or kick it 78 yards in the air, and they try to kick it with their back heel to throw you off. They try a million different stupid ways of trying to get there, and it's always meaningless. It is a meaningless play. Nobody wants a meaningless play in their sport.
Onside kick success rate, back when the safety rules weren't changed, in 2015, it was 15% of the time. In 2017, it was actually 21% of all onside kicks. Then the running start got banned. So it went from 21% of onside kicks down to 7%. Then dynamic kickoff was implemented last year, and onside kick percentage, as far as success rate, went down to 6.4%. And so they're not going to change the safety stuff. We know where the league is at least attempting to try to be at. So this would be that's why an onside kick alternative. And I think it has a real chance of happening. Yes, it feels a little XFL-y, UFL-y, whatever the league's called now. But there's that. By the way, some breaking news out of D.C. My colleague who I host a show with on Saturdays who does radio in D.C., Grant Paulson, just tweeted out 5 seconds ago, Jaden Daniels will not play on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs. He's been ruled out, a source confirms. So the Chiefs are going to face Marcus Mariota, who will make his 3rd start in 7 games.
It's hard for me to imagine a world in which the Commanders are getting this game if Jaden Daniels is out, like Grant is saying. If he's out, well then, what do you have any concerns remaining for the game?
I mean, the Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites. It's going to go up from there.
You think it'll go up to what? 12.5?
Yeah, it'll be like the Raiders 11.5-point spread.
I mean, look,
not that they're going to win 31-0, but the spread will be very similar.
The Commanders are not playing good football, and now they're without their starting quarterback. So I'm not saying that it's not an important injury. It obviously is, and good for Grant for getting that scoop.
Yeah,
I see Jeremy Fowler and other people retweeting it as well now, or not retweeting it, sharing a similar story. The source obviously getting to multiple people. Not a long-term injury, but the Commanders will not risk it this Monday. So yeah, breaking news, Jaden Daniels out for this game on Monday. We now give what percentage chance, knowing that, do you give the Commanders to win the game on Monday? It's an NFL game.
Yeah.
Anybody can win.
Yeah, exactly.
15? 10? It's not high, man.
Yeah, probably 15%.
It's not a high percentage, whatever it is. You know, it sucks for ESPN. This is really small.
Yeah,
but
Monday night. We don't get Mahomes versus Daniels, which does suck.
I'll give them a lot of credit. Like in speaking in some
Chiefs are already up to 11.5-point favorites. It's already that's exactly what the line is.
Somebody got on there quick.
Yeah.
So in speaking before the season, some of the schedule makers, I think it was on the podcast that Nick Jacobs and Matt Derrick do together. And listening before the season, they talked about like early in the season, we're going to put these two teams together because they're probably going to be healthy. Neither of the team will be out of it yet. Therefore, we'll have Patrick Mahomes versus Jaden Daniels. Little juicy Monday Night Football matchup. And now we're getting Patrick Mahomes versus Marcus Mariota.
If you're wanting the
which has
actual
way less juice.
If you're wanting the actual math answer to your question of the percentage chance for the Commanders to win, based on betting odds, they are at a 16.6% chance to beat the Chiefs. That's what the betting market is saying.
Well, we were pretty close there with our old 15% we tossed out there, huh?
Yeah.
Not so bad. I mean, at least in the range. So, yeah, Jaden Daniels not going to play Monday night. Now, I guess the question comes down to, is this going to be Kansas City's fourth blowout in their last 5 games? Kansas City has, I would say, by NFL standards, throttled 3 of the last 4 opponents. They have won by double digits in 3 of the last 4 games. One of them was, like as bad as it gets. If you make that a blowout for every time, it's not that. But they beat the Lions by 14. They beat the Giants by 14. Or the Ravens, by like 14. They've been beating teams up.
Yeah. I mean, look, Deebo Samuel's back to practice. Terry McLaurin's back to practice. They were without both, so they will have some of their wide receivers back. I haven't looked. Mariota's played in, 3 games this year?
They lost Dorrance Armstrong for the year. That's their best pass rusher so far this season.
What's Mariota's? Okay, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions this year, 60% completion, 1-1 record, 426 yards. Those were against Dallas. He came in late. 4 for okay, that one doesn't count. Against Atlanta, they lost 34-27. He was 16-27, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and then they beat the Raiders, which everybody does seemingly, 15-21 for 207 and a touchdown. Pedestrian stuff.
Marcus Mariota gives me PTSD, though. Every time I think of him.
Pass to himself.
Pass to himself for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was Kareem Mahomes.
By the way, Mariota or Mariota? I keep screwing it up.
Mariota?
See? That's what I'm
now
saying.
You got me thinking.
See what I'm saying? I screwed it up earlier, I think.
Go to Pro Football Reference? Maybe they'll tell you.
Because we both said different ways, is what I was.
He's not good enough to know. Marcus
Mariota. Okay,
Mariota.
Thank you.
But yeah, he gives me PTSD. Every time I see him, I just see him making the catch and diving into the end zone.
Yeah.
Pre-Mahomes.
I know it's pre-Mahomes. I know.
We discuss things as if, before they found, the tablet to unlock ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics, We talk about, there are things that existed in the Chiefs' lore that were things you should actually fear. Those existed pre-Mahomes. Now, same. What's great about this is that it gets to be PM either way, right? Patrick Mahomes, pre-Mahomes. And then post-Mahomes, we describe those things quite a bit differently. I don't fear the Colts the same way. I don't fear Marcus Mariota catching his own touchdown pass in what is one of the most ridiculous plays I've ever seen in NFL history.
I know we already had a conversation planned later on in the 1 o'clock hour, about Jaden Daniels and where he's at compared to some of the other top quarterbacks. He was awesome last year, historically great. Get a little hamstring strains can happen to anybody. Okay, that's not but he's had a little knee thing. He's got a hamstring now. This year has been. It's not a lost season, but he's now going to miss. Is his 4th game already?
Yes. And the way I view, and you and I have talked a lot about, because it's really difficult to diagnose young quarterbacks, who to give a contract to, all this other stuff. I've really kind of settled into, I think year 3 is more important than year 2. Year 3 tells me a lot about where you are as a quarterback. Year 1 can be a liar one way or the other. You can be C.J. Stroud in year 1, Jaden Daniels in year 1, and then year 2 can tell a slightly different story. Hell, even Drake May didn't impress me a ton in year 1. Looks real good in year 2. Year 3 is really the truth teller of, do you take a step forward and settle into where you belong amongst starting NFL quarterbacks? You know where you are, you know who your coach is, you know where you belong, and you establish what level of play you give every week. Year 2, you get dinged up a little bit, Gold, I'll forgive it in a few ways. I'll give you a little grace. And you had a hamstring thing come up, injuries happen. Year 3, you start getting hurt again and missing games. Year 3, you make some mistakes. Because if you look at the numbers on paper, Jaden Daniels is actually having a fine year when he plays.
Mm-hmm.
And so, they've had problems on defense. They've been missing some weapons. He has not played bad.
No, I mean, McLaurin and Deebo Samuel have missed multiple games, and that's a major problem for them. They're relying on, I know Jacory Krosky-Merritt is a great story, Bill, as they call him in D.C., but they're he's been their most reliable playmaker. I mean, that's who you're counting on if you're DC.
Going into the season, this does kind of stink, I guess, if you were I'll say, going into the season, we spent an entire topic saying, what on the Chiefs schedule is the game you would want to go to Arrowhead to the most? Which is the game you are the most excited about? And a lot of you, when we had that conversation, Alex included, a lot of you looked at the schedule and you said, I can't wait for Monday Night Football. Patrick Mahomes versus the rookie of the year last year, Jaden Daniels, home on Monday Night Football. Ooh.
Yeah, that was.
And now
it's because I've seen Chiefs Bills a lot. I've seen Chiefs Broncos plenty of times and all that.
Chiefs Baltimore.
I was excited to see Jaden Daniels in person play a football game and go up against Mahomes. And for the Chiefs' sake, it's obviously good that they're going to face Mariota instead. But it's a bummer. Got some friends coming into town as well for the game. So
could you imagine before the season if I convinced you that Daniel Jones and Colts Chiefs at home is a much bigger game to go
I was
watch?
about to say, that's going to be more intriguing than the Commanders game.
True.
Oh, now? Yeah, by a mile.
Do you think they flex that? I've heard they might, but do you think
For
they
what?
flex it?
I think it'll be a
Chiefs,
325
Colts,
game.
Chiefs.
Yeah, I don't think it flexed to Sunday Night Football. We looked at the there was a pretty good Sunday night game already.
Yeah,
it was like
Rams,
Bucks,
Packers, or Rams, Bucks.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure Joe Buck and Troy Aikman aren't thrilled that it's Mariota instead of Jaden Daniels. ESPN's not thrilled about that, but it is, it's the NFL. The Chiefs up to 11.5-point favorites right there.
Chiefs win that one, which they are currently a heavy favorite of. They have won 5 of their last 6 games. That Jacksonville one's going to haunt me for a huge. If they miss the 1 seed by 1 game, I know that's the game I'm going back to. I won't go back to Philly. I won't go back to the Chargers. I will absolutely go back to that Jags game, a game that they were up 14-0 in and let slip away. In case you're just tuning in, Jaden Daniels, by every source imaginable, will be out for the game against the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. It'll be Marcus Mariota starting in his place. So, and obviously a decided shift. I'd be surprised if it stops at 11.5 and doesn't get to 12.5 by the time.
The Chiefs closed as 13.5-point favorites against the Raiders. Now, the Commanders are a better football team than Vegas, but it's Monday night at Arrowhead. The Chiefs are rolling right now. Yeah, I think it could be 12 or 12.5. The Chiefs are not going to win 31-0, but there's a chance that the Chiefs, if they could not give the Commanders any hope early, like if the Chiefs have an ability to get a quick stop early in the game, and they go down and score, and all of a sudden it's 10-0 or 14-0, it feels like ball game already at that point in time.
What's Mariota going to do? Come from behind? Feels like another good opportunity, admittedly, for the Chiefs defense to really shine again.
Especially if Debo doesn't play.
Yeah.
Now he is back to practice.
Oh, okay.
So
I
it
think
sounds
Debo
like
and Terry McLaurin.
It sounds like those two are back, are going to be back, unless there's a setback.
But
Unless there's a setback, okay.
But they've done a good job against number 1 wide receivers. That's not been where their problem has been. I almost asked you this question before. Maybe it's a longer topic for later in the week, but I was thinking about their defense, and we understand they're top 5 in yardage allowed. They are top 6 in points allowed per game. But what I was trying to decide is, what do I like best about them as a defense? And your answer can't be Spags. What is it like from a player perspective? Maybe we can get into it later in the week.
Yeah.
But that's always what I really like in these matchups with Terry McLaurin or the way they've stopped the run. I looked at the way Jahmyr Gibbs ran last week, Gold, and I told myself, damn, they did a really nice job against Jahmyr Gibbs. They held him to 0 catches and 40 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
And he is an electric player to go with there. But yeah, this matchup changes quite a bit just based on that.
Someone was asking, does it change the game into a trap game now? I don't think so. I think the Chiefs are still a 4-3 football team. We're all feeling, but they a loss and they're back to 500. They don't have the wiggle room in their own division. They certainly don't have the wiggle room in the number 1 seed conversation. I think this is different. If this team was undefeated, they were sitting here at 6-1 like the Colts or something, then maybe you could talk me into it. They're overlooking them. The Bills are on the horizon. I think this team dug themselves a hole. They know that. 0-2 to start. They just finally got out of it above water to get to 4-3. I don't think when you're 4-3 in 3rd place in your division, you can't. To me, there is no trap game when you're 4-3.
Yeah, I agree. You're still fighting for too much. You're still in, like you said, 3rd place. The only team you're above right now is the absolutely worthless Las Vegas Raiders. So there's still a lot of work left to do, at least on that end. So I think in a weird way, these close games that they used to fight ugly, I also think they used to fight ugly because they had to. Because they weren't an explosive team.
Yeah, the big play stuff wears them up.
That's what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
They've blown out 3 of their last 4 opponents. They've won those games easily. They were against Baltimore, an admittedly bad team, especially because they didn't have Lamar Jackson. The Lions, who are a very good team on that end, and they took it. Raiders are an awful team, but they buried them in a way I see very few teams bury a team. So, I just think that I don't think they're going to sleepwalk on very many teams right now.
Up next, we'll get to what's trending, then we'll get back into the rest of the schedule for Kansas City, which now, obviously, Monday night looks a little bit differently. But when's the next time you think the Chiefs lose a football game? That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine those live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Schedule your home improvement project while the weather is still nice with Powell Exteriors KC. They offer easy financing, pay no interest until 2027, a 10-year workmanship warranty, and their extended summer sale. PowellExteriorsKC.com. The power of KC is Powell Exteriors KC.
Our Best Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Our Best. We believe.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Smokehouse Barbecue has always been our choice when it comes to barbecue in Kansas City. We love everything about Smokehouse Barbecue. And now Smokehouse has street tacos, their newest menu item. 3 flour tortillas, chopped burnt ends and smoked sausage, plus corn elote and Cajun sour cream and a side. And now, every Tuesday, kids eat for $1.99 with the purchase of an adult entree. So visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Gladstone, Zona Rosa, or Independence, and at SmokehouseBBQ.com. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Hi there, I'm Charlie.
And I'm Carter. Our dad is Rex with Rex Buys KC.
If you're thinking about selling a home in Kansas City and don't know where to start, our dad can help.
Sometimes life throws curveballs, like moving for a new job, dealing with a divorce, or inheriting a house you weren't expecting.
Dad doesn't just make offers, he talks with people to help them understand all of their options. No pressure, and it doesn't cost anything to talk with his team.
He's a local home buyer who really knows Kansas City. If selling to him is the right choice, he'll give you a fair cash offer, and you can close on your timeline even in as little as 7 days.
He buys homes in any condition. No need for repairs, no fees, no surprises.
Just an honest, easy process so you feel good about your decision.
Want to talk to him? Call 816-330-6000 or go to rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24 monthly bill credits on experience beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro 256 gigs $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Find what you love and love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. B21.
Jefferson's Wings, Burgers, and Oysters, located in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin.
Listen to the Sunflower Showdown on Saturday with pregame starting at 9, kickoff at 11, right here on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
What's trending brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive since 1942. Telly certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on what's trending, the breaking news we got to at the end of the Chiefs Red Half Hour reports out of D.C. that Jaden Daniels ruled out already from Monday Night Football. That means the Chiefs will take on veteran backup Marcus Mariota. This will be his third start already this season. This time it's a hamstring injury for Jaden Daniels. He was already dealing with a knee injury. Other reports out of D.C., Terry McLaurin expected to practice today, as is Deebo Samuel. So they could get their top playmakers back, but obviously a huge blow to them to not have Jaden Daniels. So we will not get Mahomes versus Daniels on Monday Night Football. The Chiefs already now up to 11.5-point favorites at multiple sports books. We'll talk more on the betting side of things tonight. I've got that betting show tonight from 6 to 7. We'll certainly discuss betting implications on this news later on.
Todd Bowles also said that Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin will be out for Sunday's game as well.
Okay.
The Bucks injuries continue really bad. Next up on what's trending, the NBA season tipped off last night. 2 overtime game between OKC and Houston. Thunder, the defending champions, did end up winning that game 125-124. The night that they raised their championship banner. Really interesting night in the NBA. Obviously, some good storylines. They were pretty sizable favorites to repeat as champions. Their roster is absolutely loaded, but a hell of a fight in that first game against the Rockets.
I love the NBC broadcast. Obviously, some good nostalgia there. I also thought Mike Tirico made it feel like a big game. And their whole production did that as well. And so I'll probably watch more Tuesday night basketball than I ever have, or at least in recent history I have,
Kind of got it like Tuesday that night, when Thursday's ESPN, Friday's Amazon or something. They got them all mixed up.
Monday's Peacock, Tuesday NBC local, Wednesday ESPN, I think, and then Friday is Prime, and then weekend is whatever. Right now there's no national on Sundays because of the NFL, but eventually there will be later on in the year. Up next, 52 modern-era players advance in the voting process for the 2026 Pro Football Hall of Fame class. Again, they got to really narrow this thing down. There's still a ton of people that are eligible, so keep that in mind. But some of the big names, Drew Brees, first-time eligible. Eli Manning, part of this class of modern candidates. Phillip Rivers. You got Frank Gore, LaShawn McCoy, Larry Fitzgerald. Let's see, Jason Witten. Can go. I mean, there's a ton of names. I'm not going to name 52. You get the point. All right, but the big ones there: Eli, Drew Brees, and Jason Witten are guys that have a chance maybe here to get in.
Next up on what's trending, the NFL are having owners meetings at the moment with a group of players. Multiple things being discussed. They're considering the 4th and 20 onside kick rule, or said they're considering it. They're obviously not voting on it today. They also said that they're going to considering looking at AI to assist referees in making those decisions.
Oh, boy.
And officially made the announcement that the Pro Bowl will occur Tuesday night of Super Bowl week in the Super Bowl city, which is obviously San Francisco this year. Kansas City will be there, so you'll probably know. The game in February will be at the Moscone Center down there.
Something
So
like
they'll do
that.
the Pro Bowl games Tuesday night of Super Bowl week. They have fully punted on their All-Star game activities, and honestly, I can't blame them. They're trash.
Yeah, like it makes sense to do it Super Bowl week. My only thing still would be if you're a player that got voted into the Pro Bowl games, at least before it was the week before, and then you could start your off season and go do your trips and everything. Now you're trying to convince players to do this game, and they got to wait a whole nother week. Some of these guys, their season would have been over by January 8th, and now you're asking them to go to San Francisco in this case for a Pro Bowl game on a Tuesday night in early February. A lot of those guys are checked out and done. You're going to have even more opt-outs than ever before.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we already have a ton of them. Lastly, on what's trending, the NFL and EA Sports have agreed to an extension through the 2030 season for the league's Madden video game license. A lot of people have been upset that Madden has been kind of status quo. They want somebody to, I'm being kind, trying to find somebody else to develop a game, but that's not happening. At least licensed game, I should say. The NFL and EA at least staying together through 2030.
There hasn't been any development of that game in 20 years. It's the same game I played 20 years ago.
It's not to that extent, but I get your point.
You're saying I'm going too far,
yes,
but it's not as far off
that's right.
as you would like it to
That's
be.
correct, yeah.
I'll take that.
I
Don't
think that's
forget,
fair.
Wednesday, Jefferson's is our Wednesday lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Football season, so we know there's no better place to watch your favorite team than at Jefferson's. Great daily specials, great happy hour, locations everywhere. Lenexa, North Kansas City, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Bring your friends and family out to Jefferson's for the ultimate game day experience. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters, you also know on Wednesdays. We give away a $50 gift card to Jefferson's, so we give you a chance to take your friends and family out there. What number do we think? What caller for JT? What would make it easy for him?
25.
25. God, that's a big number. He's going to hang up on a few of you to start. Caller number 25, $50 gift card to Jefferson's on the line at 913-586-7965.
One final piece of news that just came out right at the end of what's trending, just baseball news. Tennessee baseball coach Tony Vitello is finalizing a deal to become the next manager of the San Francisco Giants. That, according to Jeff Passan, Vitello, 47 years old, be the first ever to go from college coach to MLB manager without any pro ball experience. So
It's
pretty
very
significant.
Weird. So it's weird for two reasons. One is college pay is actually better in baseball than it is in the major leagues. You get on par with. You get paid a lot to be a college baseball coach. It can be more, especially at Tennessee, than some of the actual major league managers make.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they don't make the jump gold for that reason. It's also considered kind of like a decidedly different sport. So, but it's just the management of people. Can he manage people or can he not manage people? That's always the thing that comes down to it for me. I'm kind of curious to see if it works. Honestly, I'm assuming you are too.
Yeah, I'm open for some new ideas there, at least with the Giants organization. Then you had Kurt Suzuki being hired by the Angels yesterday. So Albert Pujols, I don't know what the disagreement was there. Maybe it was financial. Maybe it wasn't the right fit. Remember, everybody thought Albert Pujols was a leading candidate at the Angels job. They went with a former player. Kurt Suzuki has some former teammates still on the team that he's going to manage for the Angels next year.
I know.
That's kind of weird.
That's like the David Ross one when he took over for the Cubs.
True.
But people thought...
That happened with Stephen Vogt.
True.
It's been I'd say the more popular move the last couple of years.
Well, mostly people started thinking that he took the job yesterday was because during their scrimmage he started crying and hugging the coaches at Tennessee because Tennessee had a scrimmage.
Gotcha.
And there was videos going around of him crying, and so they thought he took the job yesterday.
Wow.
I thought you would
They're
stay in. I'm not a big college baseball guy, but I thought you would stay in college baseball just because there's not as much of a, I would say, situation where you're going to get fired in the college baseball world. There's more pressure on you, obviously, in the MLB, but there's not as much pressure in college baseball.
The truth is, though, they just take him right back at Tennessee.
Yeah, he'll get let's say he flames out with the
yeah.
Giants in 2 years. He'll have another college gig somewhere. And also, I mean, I don't know whether we're talking this particular job or any other job. Nobody takes a job thinking they're getting fired, right? Like nobody takes a job.
No, you're like, I'm going to make this work.
You believe in yourself, whether it's coaching, whether it's what we do or anything. Like you don't take a job thinking you're going to get fired. So he thinks he's going to succeed, and he might.
I will say, in fairness, it's like if they offered me a job in radio in New York, I wouldn't go there being like, well, if I get fired, I could just come back to Kansas City. I'd be like, I'm going to make this work in New York.
And he might also want a new challenge. Like he wants to show that he can win a World Series.
It really is only recently that MLB managers started getting paid more. Do you know that for his salary at Tennessee, he would be the 13th highest paid MLB manager in a per year basis? So, like, I mean,
well, the thought is that,
and it's only recently started jumping in Major League Baseball. Remember, where like Dave Roberts got paid a bunch of money and Craig Counsell.
The thought is you do more, frankly. You know, like in Major League Baseball, the front office, you know, in the analytics side of things too, the front office helps. Everybody gets mad at Q for the lineup. The front office is very much involved in lineup creation and all that. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't do anything. That's not my point. But I'm just saying, in college, the coach is doing a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
Recruiting, most notably. I mean, Q is not out there.
You don't have to sit on a parent's
doing
couch
trades.
and say, "Come play baseball."
Q's not out there doing trades for the organization. They have a general manager that handles that.
But it's crazy. He made twice as much as AJ Hinch last year.
Yeah.
Coaching at Tennessee.
Tennessee's also one of the top programs in the country. Anyway, just some news. Thought it was interesting. We will have Josh Klingler join us, who is, of course, Chiefs sideline reporter for the Chiefs Radio Network. He'll be getting set for Monday Night Football. We'll get his perspective on Jaden Daniels not playing. He remembers the Marcus Mariota Tennessee game.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll talk a little about that.
Nobody wants to
with him in just a little bit. But the schedule for Kansas City, admittedly now that Jaden Daniels is not going to play, this one, you know, if you were worried, the concern level went down quite a bit. So looking at the schedule the rest of the way, when's the next time you think they lose? They get the Commanders Monday, then they're at Buffalo in Week 9, then a well-timed bye week in Week 10. Come out of the bye week, you go to Denver to take on the Broncos. You're home against the Colts team that now this looks like one of the best home games left on the schedule from a fan perspective. At Dallas on Thanksgiving, home to the Houston Texans, who look terrible. Chargers rematch there. We all know what happened in Brazil. That's at home. Then you go to Nashville. I wish that game wasn't in December because that would have been a fun trip in Week 16. And then Week 17 is Denver, and then you wrap up in Vegas. And a game which you might have to play the starters this year to ensure you lock up something. I don't know what that something is. Division, 1 seed, 2 seed, I don't know. When are they going to lose? Here's the thing. I want to see Buffalo against Carolina this week out of the bye week. Does
you
their
think your answer might be different?
Yeah, because
Monday?
right now that defense, they're not stopping anybody. And now Andy Dalton is the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. If the Bills defense gets shredded by, how old is Andy Dalton now? 38 years old? I don't know.
And Xavier Legette.
Yes.
He actually is coming off a good game.
And Rico Dowdle and these guys, then the Bills defense once again will prove like it doesn't matter who's facing them. Anybody can score on them. And my answer will be different. Now, if their defense shows signs of improvement, we know typically for whatever reason, the Chiefs in the regular season against the Bills, they usually lose that matchup and then they handle their business when it matters in Buffalo. It's why I don't get as excited for the Bills regular season matchup because it has very little bearing. Now, 1 seed has a role in that. So right now, I will say
divisional now this year.
At Buffalo feels like a game that they could lose, but that Bills defense has to show me more. But that would be my answer currently.
Andy Dalton, by the way, is 37 years old.
Okay.
But in 1 week from today, he'll be 38.
Yeah, he's 38.
So pretty close if you're rounding up on that end. I think it is either the Colts or Dallas. I think they're beating Buffalo this year, even though it is in Buffalo. Some of this might just be talking myself into it because this year the Eagles haven't looked like the Eagles and the Bills haven't looked like the Bills. And I'm not saying they can't beat Kansas City. Obviously, the Eagles did, despite the fact they're not looking like it. The Bills have beaten. They're 4-2. They got a better record than Kansas City by a half game. The 4 teams they have beaten have 3 wins combined.
Like 3-21 or something, 3-24.
3-24.
Yeah.
3 wins combined. They have beaten the Ravens, who are 1-6, the Jets, who are 0-7, the Dolphins, who are 1-5, 1-6, and the Saints, who are 1-5. Those are their wins. They're on a 2-game losing streak against the Patriots. Close game Thursday night. Patriots are a good team. Certainly could have won that game. And the Falcons, who ran them over. They weren't even particularly close in that game. That game was decidedly all Falcons. On that, I think it was a Thursday night game, or maybe it was a Monday night game.
Sunday
it was a prime
Sunday
time.
night, I think, right?
Okay.
Wasn't it
Monday
Sunday?
night? I'm looking at it now. Monday night game. It was a primetime one. That was
Yeah.
all I remember. And so, yeah, if they struggle against surprisingly is the same record as the Chiefs, 4-3 Carolina Panthers squad, and Andy Dalton and Xavier Legette either win this game or keep it close.
Yeah.
I just think Kansas City's better than Buffalo. You want to know the truth? I think Kansas City's better than Buffalo. I think Buffalo's got to worry about their own problems right now, and Buffalo's playing Kansas City at a bad time. They are playing great football by now. I could see things getting hinky at some point later in the schedule, which is why I think the Chiefs' next loss comes either at home against the Colts, in which I think eventually will be a 3:25 game, not a noon one, or the following short week against Dallas on Thanksgiving. big game, Colts, a lot going on. You scratch one out, and then 4 days later, you got to face an offense that is amongst the better ones in the NFL, and they just get you on a game. I think it's Dallas. If you made me predict right now, I think they win 4 games in a row, and then they lose to Dallas. And that they only lose like 2 more games the rest of the year.
I was going to say, what's the updated win total? Because that's more important. I mean, the next loss again,
Two
Buffalo
losses.
with a little an asterisk next to that one because I want to see their defense. Otherwise, the Colts have shown to this point in time their offense is the real deal, and so that's going to be a much tougher game. Before the season started, I thought they were a 14-win team. I don't think they're getting to 14. They're not. To me, they're not winning out. It's the NFL. There's not a team in the league that I think is just going to run all the way through. I know, we feel great about the Chiefs right now, and their offense is rolling. The defense is a top 10 defense as well.
They lost 2 weeks ago
but
to the
they
Jags,
lost to Jacksonville, and they outplayed them and still found a way to lose. So things happen. It's the NFL. It's why we love it. It's why otherwise we would all win our Survivor leagues very easily if we just picked the teams that are supposed to win every week and that are favorites. Then Survivor wouldn't be as fun. Upsets happen. The Packers lost to the Browns for crying out loud earlier this season. So I hear you on Dallas because of the hard game against the Colts and then short week. The question with them is that defense. Talking about another team. That's what's interesting. I mentioned Buffalo. You mentioned Dallas. Both teams have no defense.
Correct. But so certainly the Chiefs could score. But if it's a game where, this is, sometimes it's like it's an engine and something's just kind of out of sync every once in a while, even for an elite level offense like Kansas City possesses. Look, I've still seen them be flawed enough this season, and I've only seen one game with Rashee Rice, and that man barely had to play, Gold. And so, I'd like to see a full game of them before I'm like, they're winning out. I will say, for the obvious reasons, if they get past the next 5 games, well, then they are winning out. Sure, fine. I would feel pretty comfortable locking it in then, because that is the most difficult stretch of their schedule, and that includes the earlier part of the schedule that was tough. At Buffalo, at Denver, at home versus the current AFC leaders, Indianapolis, and at Dallas is about as hard of a stretch as you get the next 4 games. This game would have qualified as lumped into that group if Jaden Daniels was playing. Obviously, as we found out earlier in the show, Jaden Daniels is out, so that's not a part of it. But those 4 games, 3 on the road, 2 on a short week against your opponent. You're on shorter rest than Buffalo. You're on the same short rest as you are against Dallas. And 1 against a defensive line that can take advantage of maybe still not a complete offensive line. So, there are some things on paper I can see a loss in there. I'm just saying it's taking to the back end. I think they lose 2 more games the rest of the year. I think they finish 12-5. Is that what you would guess today?
Yeah. Look,
13-4?
I think, 13-4 to me is very realistic still for them. That gives them 1 game of wiggle room. 12 is the very conservative answer to give. I would be shocked if
you can still get them at plus money to win 12.
I'd be shocked if they don't get to 12, though. How about that? I would be very surprised they don't at least get to 12.
Man, that's just saying 1 loss the rest of the way. You think we're coming out here?
12.
Oh, yeah. That means 2 losses.
That's 2.
So I was like, I don't necessarily disagree. It always goes back to the same thing. I made decisions on betting on the Chiefs. As soon as it gets down to 10.5, I'm in.
Yeah.
Take my money.
We had somebody on, and she does a great job with betting content and stuff. And
sometimes we're wrong.
And people are wrong all the time. I mean, I thought the Chargers were going to beat the Colts last week. That was wrong. But it was, at the time, she was this was before the Detroit game. And she was suggesting to bet the under 10.5 on Kansas City.
And you're like, no.
And now I don't think anybody would suggest that. I'll be out that to me was just crazy at the time, though. Yes, we're always wrong, but
this is not a hindsight's 2020 situation.
That was crazy in the moment.
Was she getting plus money?
No. 9, yes. Not under 10.5, but on 9.
Okay.
People were waiting. People so badly wanted that to happen, I think, and that clouded some people's judgment. Don't forget, Sports Talk here on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday. All season long, visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. Here in about 12 minutes, we'll talk about a few trade candidates that are out there. One name sounds like it's not going anywhere if you believe reports out of Vegas. And then there's an individual that used to be with Vegas, used to be with the Raiders, that's rehabbing. There's also some weird rumors out there as well. Should the Chiefs be making a call on him? We'll get to that in just a bit. You found something about Nick Saban that was kind of ironic because it's how this whole college system works.
Yeah, I don't know how to break this to Nick Saban, somebody I did not think I needed to school on the way college athletics work, seeing how he's, maybe the most successful college athletics coach of all time on the football end. Nick Saban had said he isn't currently surprised on a recent string of high-profile firings across college football, saying that the problem is that alumni who donate money to programs are more influential thanks to name, image, and likeness, saying that they shouldn't be, but they are instead treating it like they have a voice and feel like they should have a voice. Nick, they have to. They are your boss, whether you like it or not. Everyone's got a boss. Alex, you and I have a boss. Specs our boss. He's got a boss. And that boss is our boss too. She's got a boss. Everyone's got a boss. And in college football, since the end of time, pre-name, image, and likeness, I would like to point out, boosters were part of the boss system. They, as a collective, had some ownership over what you did, if you kept your job, if your job security was fine. The other part about this is you can be fired at any moment. You can bench a player at any moment. This is life. I can be fired from my job today. You can be fired from your job today. They can be fired as their coach. If you can bench a player and put them, then you can be fired. I don't think that the boosters are somehow now the issue with why James Franklin's getting run out of town.
No, if you want to argue that boosters and the system we have, it's allowed them to have way too much influence over the sport. That's a very fair argument, and I think that's
what it is. They're spending the money.
Right. Do I think they have way too much of an influence? Absolutely. But college sports has allowed that to happen because they've allowed them to have as much say in the process. And these donors, as much as they love their university, they're also helping with buyouts and contracts and things like that and donations to make it work, because they want power and influence. It's not just that they want to support their alma mater. They like the influence they get. They like having the 80s ear. Yeah. No different than in politics when someone wants some influence on any, like it's the same thing. People are just donating. People are just donating for the hell of it because they want some influence and therefore power, and that is what has happened.
I guess,
but I will say with the current setup and the amount of buyouts that are out there, the issue that they have right now in college football is, like, we all applauded Indiana for signing a new deal, Kurt Signetti.
Yeah.
But it's got like a $90 million buyout, which is in schools that are willing to do that. That's also insane. That's because you set yourself up to be in the same spot where James Franklin and Penn State is. Penn State's still got to pay out all this money. The buyouts have gotten so absurd. That's where they've screwed up.
They're trying to get job security. But sorry, there's enough money in this world that no amount of money you owed buys job security. Look, here, like he said, quote, for you to go to the Rose Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, for all that you accomplished and for all those people to not show enough appreciation for that and gratitude for the hard work. This goes back to, did you watch Mad Men?
Yeah. I actually never finished the whole thing. I watched 4 seasons and for whatever reason never finished
This is the part that I think people sometimes don't understand about the way it worked. And when Don Draper's sitting there and Peggy Olson comes into the office and she says, "You never say thanks." He's like, "That's what the money's for. Show you appreciation. I pay you $10 million a year, Nick. I don't have to say thanks." Like, the money is the appreciation. The piles of cash, the $49 million to go away. Nobody owes you a thank you. No one needs to owe you a debt of gratitude because you're not winning. It's sports. It's highly competitive. They've decided the system is, we can pay you to go away. Like, we own influence. And because you fought name, image, and likeness so long ago, you could have had a better system for it, where you needed less money from these boosters to pay people for. You could have changed the influence of the game a little bit, Gold, but you allowed this to drag out. So, like, I think coaches are at their own fault for letting name, image, and likeness become this way, because the league and the NCAA and everybody was fine to operate under status quo where players didn't get paid for a long time. So, yeah, now the money men control the sport even more. That's not surprising to me, I guess.
Oh, and then to take it a step further, we know now there's, I think, some legislation that's trying to block this, but we know multiple athletic departments have started to take, and conferences starting to consider taking money from private equity firms. You think they're not going to?
in a big fight with
you
it right
think
now.
that they're not going to force some decisions to be made as they get more and more ownership of? I think, the Big Ten is working on that. Boise State just now had to stay competitive, take in money from a private equity firm. And I don't know where on the legal side of things it's all going to be, but there's lawsuits. There's also legislation that's out there to try to prevent that from happening. And I don't know where that dust is going to settle. But that's another thing to keep an eye on.
Right, yeah. I mean, look, it's a weird part that the sport is in. And we've talked about this. They've cannibalized themselves in a lot of ways. And the private equity certainly won't help them manage it the way that they want to. It'll just become it is a business. It's been a business a long time. It was just only some of the people sharing the money. My whole thing is, don't make rules to limit and cap now what players can earn, unless you're going to limit and cap this, Gold. How much a buyout can be for a coach, how much a contract can be for a coach, how much ADs can make. If you're going to cap all of it and create like a balanced system in which money flows equally for all, I'm in. But if you're going to say, no, we're only trying to stop the players from making money, that's where I have a problem.
Up next, we're going to get to the random question of the day and a name that you might start hearing a little bit more, not around the trade deadline. I'm talking after. We'll explain next.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Guys, you know something's been feeling off. It could just be signs of aging. Maybe it's your energy slipping away. But all of these things can be signs of low testosterone. The solution is easy. Testosterone replacement therapy at Synergen X and Low T Center. You don't have to just take my word for it. Ask the patients who go there themselves. Guys who started TRT often say it changed big parts of their life, saved their marriage, and so much more. And you can do a free T test right now in the month of October by just going to Low T and get an on-site results in as little as 20 minutes. After that, you can choose between whether you want to be treated in their center, if you want to just use their brand new app and be treated in that way. It's a great way to choose the style of treatment you are most comfortable with. So sign up for that free test at the center and find out where your T levels are. Also, for a limited time only, visit any Synergen X or Low T Center for a free hormone consultation and free T test and automatically enter for a chance to win either autographed sports memorabilia such as jerseys, balls, and helmets, or you may even win a pair of tickets to a major sporting event in town. So don't just take it from me. Book your appointment now at trtmvp.com. That's trtmvp.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Century Roofing remains the best roofing company to call for insurance claims from storm damage, roof repair, and inspections throughout Kansas City. They were just voted as both the best roofing company in Johnson County for the 4th straight year and the best roofing company in all of Kansas City by readers of the Johnson County Post and the KC Star. So trust the pillars of strength and go with locally owned and female-owned Century Roofing at centuryroofingkc.com.
Century Roofing, trust the pillars of strength.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey friends, it's noisy out there with information coming at us all day, every day. It's hard to know what to trust, and the world of wealth management is no exception. That's why UMB Private Wealth Management helps you tune out the noise and tune into what matters most. They'll create a financial plan based on your unique goals, so it's your voice that comes through loud and clear. Get financial clarity. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule an appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. 412-6299.
Introducing your new Dell PC with the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps you handle a lot, even when your holiday to-do list gets to be a lot. Like organizing your holiday shopping and searching for great holiday deals and customer questions and customers requesting custom things, plus planning the perfect holiday dinner for vegans, vegetarians, pescatarians, and Uncle Mike's carnivore diet. Luckily, you can get a PC with all-day battery life to help you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside, backed by Dell's price match guarantee. Get yours today at Dell.com/deals. Terms and conditions apply. See Dell.com for details.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed. Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk knows the best holiday gift is simply saying yes.
Yes, you can stay up late. Sure, more cookies. Of course we can watch that movie again.
That's why we give you real unlimited data, so you can say yes to all of your family's streaming, scrolling, and sharing. And now at Straight Talk, get another gift worth giving, a free 5G phone with select plans. Because yes is the best gift to give.
Yes!
And receive. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
When comfort's on the line, Anthony shows up. Same day, 24/7, even weekends and holidays. For a limited time, tankless water heaters starting at $88 per month. Schedule your complimentary proposal today at anthonyphce.com.
Fast cars, barbecue, and live music. Bring the family for Burnouts, a car show, Kid Zone, and Chris Jansen live Saturday night. It's Boost and Barbecue next Friday, October 24th and Saturday, October 25th at Flying H Drag Strip, Odessa. Kids 12 and under are free. Online at boostandbbq.com. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
We'll get to the random question of the day here in about 8 minutes or so. Also at 1 o'clock, Josh Klingler, our weekly conversation with the Chiefs sideline reporter. We'll ask him a little bit more about the Commanders. And again, if you're just joining us for the first time today, the news of the day involving Chiefs Commanders is that Jaden Daniels is already out for that game. He will not start Marcus Mariota, the starting quarterback for the Commanders. Chiefs up to 11.5, 12.5, and some other spots, point favorites. We'll talk more on the betting stuff tonight during that betting show. I'll be live from 6 to 7 right here on 96.5 The Fan. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be focused on names around the trade deadline, which is coming up just under 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday, actually, is the trade deadline. And it makes sense that you're going to look at trade targets, and maybe they will bring in someone via trade. But there's another name that Nate Taylor was handing out a little bit with us this week and last week, Christian Wilkins. Now, if you're wondering why that name sounds familiar, it was just a year ago he signed a $111 million contract with the Las Vegas Raiders. Had a great start to his career with the Miami Dolphins. Very, very good player.
He was their huge offseason addition.
He was. He hurt his foot. He needed surgery. Last year, he did not play much because of that. He was supposed to rehab, maybe didn't do it the way they wanted him, and so there's some dispute there. Then there was the bizarre story that came out that prompted his release and an HR complaint, which was allegedly he kissed a teammate on the top of his head, and there was other stuff going out there. And
they're still fighting with him to not pay him.
They don't want to pay him. He still, meanwhile, is rehabbing from the injury, most importantly here.
And should be ready starting right about now is what the original reporting said.
Right. And so we know the Chiefs need defensive line help. This is a name to watch. It doesn't require a trade. Maybe it's more towards a Thanksgiving and beyond. And I don't know the Chiefs' interest. I know it's a position they have interest in or need. Yeah. But I don't know how they feel about Wilkins. I also will admit it seems a little complicated because there's a lot of noise out there about what may or may not have happened in Vegas and where some teams and players in the locker room. I would say the Chiefs locker room, you would like to think, and Andy Reid's track record can handle if there is something like that going on. But from a football end, if he's healthy, he can help this football team.
Here's the argument from the football end that I think is a challenge here, is I do think that there is for any team, Gold, a tipping point of the amount of things you can take on going on at one time. And at the moment, some of them are kind of behind him, but it's still things they took on, like Kareem Hunt being back with the team. Now, that's probably behind him at this point, right? That was the initial Kareem Hunt is back with the team. They're still actively dealing with Josh Simmons. Right? So, that is something that they are still dealing with. Rashee Rice just came off of his 6-game suspension for an off-field thing. Maybe it's behind them-ish, but it feels like they have a couple of things that they had to, manage and deal with.
Let me be clear, though. The Christian Wilkins thing, there's nothing legal going on.
No.
As
I'm
far
just
as,
saying,
that, there's no criminal case here
I lump in just, things that are distractions away from football.
Yeah.
And I felt like they've still got a few that are either in the air or just cleared up. And how much more water would you like in that department? Yeah. And I feel like that would ask you a question. From a football perspective, if he's healthy, he is a borderline perfect fit for what they need. They need an interior guy who can help stop the run and occasionally get to the quarterback. Christian Wilkins is exactly that. And so from that perspective, he makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, it's it just doesn't feel like the kind of move I expect him to make. I expect him to, promote a guy from the practice squad, sign a guy of somebody else's practice squad, trade a 6th-round pick for a run-stuffing D-tackle. I don't anticipate some massive move for them on this end. Although I've started to talk myself into the end of, it doesn't make any sense because normally we only talk about teams who are in the hunt as an acquiring team. And yet, I just watched them promote Kevin Knowles on the 53-man roster. So now they have even another corner on the 53-man roster. And they're not playing Christian Fulton already, and Joshua Williams is active on game days but barely playing. I'm kind of convinced they're trading a corner. My guess would be Fulton, but I'm starting to think maybe they're going to trade at an area of excess in order to mask some of their issues. I hate to say it, and they won't do it. The other area they could trade from is wide receiver. They're not going to do it.
No.
They're not going. That one makes no sense in the sense that why risk what is a perfect working organism? But corner, it's Christian Fulton's not playing. I understand they just gave him a contract and somebody would have to take on some of that money. But it's not like the Chiefs are the only team interested in Christian Fulton. He's been a starting corner in the league. He's just not for the Chiefs. Whatever it is, it's not working out. And that doesn't mean that he's not depth or couldn't work out down the road.
I like the depth that they have at corner, though.
But I like it. Knowles would be fine at this point. I'm not as married to Christian Fulton as I was early in the year,
Yeah, I would like them to kind of keep that depth, but I'm with you that a name to watch would be either him, Josh Williams, and I know Dave Tobe loves him on special teams, and that's something to consider here, too. Josh Williams does have a huge role on special teams and is very effective. Those would, if you're worried about giving up assets for somebody else and you want to bring back an asset, then I think corner would be an area they would look because of the depth. I just kind of like having the depth. Jalen Watson, who's played really well, he has a little bit of an injury history. I think it's fair to say, at least.
Yeah.
And he's healthy right now. He's playing pretty good. If he were to go down, they got Noel Williams, fine, but then you would like to feel good about
at this point.
Sure.
If they like him enough on the 53.
So we'll see. I think it's definitely something to watch. I don't know if it'll be Fulton. I don't know if it would be Josh Williams, but definitely two names to watch. My whole thing on trading for someone, not Christian Wilkins where you wouldn't have to trade, is I don't think there's anybody realistically available that they would acquire that is going to cause you to give up more than like a fifth or a conditional fourth. Like, I don't think there's nobody out there they're trading for that's going to, oh my gosh, huge player, second round draft pick. That guy doesn't exist. Also, Max Crosby's not getting traded, okay? And he certainly wouldn't get traded to the Chiefs. And there's already a report from Tom Pelissero that says the Raiders met with him and said, we're not trading you, dude. And I know you can say, well, we've heard that before. I actually believe it. I don't think Pete Carroll's trading Max Crosby this year.
The way it was reported certainly indicates that he's not going. And I also think whatever the biggest name you think is available in the defensive line market, just go ahead and put him in a Cowboys jersey. Like, just whoever that is. I don't care if you think Jalen Phillips is the biggest name on the trade market. Whatever name you think is the biggest pass rusher on the trade market, they are already predestined to be a Dallas Cowboy. They have all the draft capital in the world, lots of money to spend on it, and a desperate need for a team that is not far off in the sense that it seemed like last year they were at least a mediocre defensive team with Micah Parsons and a dominant defensive player. Now, they're never going to get someone as good as Micah Parsons, or unlikely because Max Crosby's not likely to be traded. But they could trade for Trey Hendrickson. They could trade for Jalen Phillips. Whoever the guy is on the market who ends up being available, I still think the biggest name's going there. But I don't think you can do nothing on the defensive line. I'll say. I don't think it can just be like, let's bump up the guy who's on the practice squad right now who plays interior defensive line, you know?
So, yeah, let's see. They got 2 games before the deadline. Their bye week is actually deadline week, so that works out in their favor. They get the Commanders, as we all know, and then they go to Buffalo. What does Charles Omenihu continue to look like? I've been saying this for like 3 weeks now, but I truly believe it. If Charles Omenihu continues in the direction he's heading, it maybe doesn't make it seem as dire on the defensive line. Ashton Gelati, while he doesn't play the same position as Omar Norman-Lott, if Gelati starts playing better, gets more playing time, then maybe we're having a different feeling 2 weeks from now about how dire it is to go and add an additional pass rusher or interior piece. Can they just, like you said, promote from within the practice squad, somebody that they liked during training camp, something like that. So I don't think they're making a trade, tomorrow or even on Monday. I think this is probably like after the Bills game kind of thing, personally, before they would make a move. But it's definitely something to watch. And then the Christian Wilkins thing is more of a closer to Thanksgiving to me.
Yeah, as in like make your trades, see how the defensive line is shaping up. And that feels like the in case of emergency. Like, we're desperate now, okay? My problem is that their defensive line feels like it is one injury away from like catastrophically bad, especially amongst the 2 guys I'm thinking of. And so like I fear any line that is one injury away from like, oh God, you are bad on the defensive line, not just mediocre or passable or good or whatever they would rank in instead, but instead like awful. And so like that's the part where I just want to be mindful and careful of kind of where they are and figure out what kind of comes next with it. But yeah, I don't expect them to be, admittedly, I do not expect them to just be whisper quiet on the defensive line. And I think we all know that would be unlikely.
Once again, thanks to our Wednesday lunch partner, our friends over at Jefferson's. It's football season. Also, just a great time to be watching sports. There's no better place to watch your favorite team than at Jefferson's. Great daily specials, awesome happy hour, of course, in Lenexa, North KC, all the way in Lawrence and Topeka, and, of course, down in Joplin as well. Bring your friends and family out to Jefferson's for the ultimate game day experience. Jefferson's wings, burgers, and oysters. Congratulations to one of our listeners also that won a $50 gift card earlier today. That's each and every Wednesday.
Right around noon,
your chance to take home a $50 gift card.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, JT, over on the text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, the random question of the day is brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. In honor of the NBA being back last night, but most importantly, being back on NBC, I want 2 things from you today for the random question. 1, very simple on the text line or on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, where we live stream the show every day. You can just give an answer over there. We interact with the chats over there. For you 2, I want you to both tell me your favorite sports-related theme of all time, and rather than play the audio, I'd like you to give it to me a little bit, like da-na-na-na-na-na-na. So if yours is NBA on NBC,
I mean that answer is not allowed because that's the obvious one.
Because they're back, let's get a different one. I will say one of mine, underrated still, because it reminds me, it hits a nostalgia point like I can't describe. Sports Center. Sports Center theme.
Da-na-na, da-na-na.
Yeah, just like the da-da-na-na, da-da-na-na.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I mean, that one hits still. Like, it just makes me feel like a kid still.
Yeah, so both great answers. Great answers. For me, I've talked about this before. It's the Sunday Night Football fame. Waiting all day for Sunday night.
The new one or like the old one?
No. So I'm not talking Monday Night Football with Hank Williams. No.
Hank Williams,
that's a classic
you're talking
as well.
Waiting all night for Sunday night.
Waiting all day for Sunday night with Carrie Underwood.
A new classic.
That's a top. Well, it's not even. It seems new. That's been around since like 05, 06.
Man, it really.
It's a remake, obviously, of the Joan Jett song, but what they've done for Sunday Night Football is great. It's become the unofficial, anthem for the NFL season.
High. Someone just mentioned like the NFL Films music being on
there.
The Masters already getting mentioned over on the text line. I like something with a little more juice. Not anti the Masters music. It feels like the Masters.
I'm going to go with some nostalgia here because it doesn't happen anymore. But the SEC CBS theme song.
Let me hear it. Let me hear it, JT. I want a little performance of it. That's part of the random question today.
Oh, it's like. Yeah,
see?
I'm trying to think. I can play it. It's not great, but here it is. Oh, wait. If I have it on. That would help if my computer was on, folks.
And I need Brad Nessler coming in.
Yeah. You're thinking of
Alabama
versus LSU Tigers.
I thought you were going to say the NCAA tournament.
I mean, that's a great answer, too.
I feel like that CBS one hits for you once
I mean,
the tournament comes
forgot.
around.
I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that.
Is that your new answer?
Yeah.
Because I know you love the NCAA tournament time.
Yeah.
And when that music starts playing,
I don't know if we have it
I know
saved.
immediately you're just like.
It does put me in a good mood when I hear that. It means the tournament's. Oh, here we go. Yeah. That's top tier.
I know you just hum it the rest of the day after you hear it.
There's only one that I'll listen to on a certain day, on a certain week. The NHL on ESPN is the only time I'll watch hockey. And I'll tell you what, it makes me want to run through a wall.
What's that one? Oh, yeah. That is a good one.
The Avalanche looking for their first win in 3. Yeah, I got you.
So, yeah, that I only know it because of NHL playoffs. I don't watch it.
Someone said baseball tonight.
Oh, that's good. I did love this one. R.I.P.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't even exist anymore. R.I.P. baseball tonight,
right.
man.
I think that's very true.
I mean,
the new Monday night theme. Look, the Hank Williams one was a classic. But the new one, it's not as bad as people make it out to be, but it's not anywhere near some of the ones we've mentioned.
I'll be honest. Throw this one into a fire.
You're not a Phil Collins fan?
I like Phil Collins fine. I just don't think it's a... Okay, when I think football, we're doing stuff. Here we go. Phil Collins? That's what we are?
I mean...
I think of the line from 30 Rock, which says I got 2 ears and a heart, don't I? Like, I don't think Phil Collins let's get into Monday Night Football,
it's not on the level as the others. I don't think it's a terrible intro, though. It's grown on me, but it's not on the level. And then Amazon Prime.
It's better than me having to hear that, that stupid commercial, the parade one. Whatever the one, the Come On... The one they remade the commercial this year for Come On Ride the Train or whatever, but it's the NFL.
Oh.
I hate that commercial.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
So
I have to hear it, though. And then Amazon Prime.
Much. It's not bad. We listened to it, remember, in the first one. It's okay. They do all have a very similar energy, don't they?
I'm intrigued to see what the Amazon Prime is for their NBA game. Their intro for their NBA games. I wonder
I don't know, because we all know NBC's doing the Rambo Rock. I don't know what Amazon Prime has Kevin Harlan doing a lot of their games. We'll find out Friday night.
The only problem with Round Ball Rock is I immediately think of
basketball.
Yeah, with Tim Robbins. I can't help it. I immediately think of Tim Robbins and Jason Sudeikis. Basketball, gimme the ball, because I'm gonna dunk it. It's just a funny skit, and then it's hard for me to imagine it. Them pretending to be John.
You're
Tesh
right, though. There are a couple we just played that got me ready to go.
Now you're just ready to watch some football.
Talking about Kevin Harlan, I saw it.
No, that's the Raiders theme. I don't like that.
What were we saying about Harlan?
I saw a funny tweet about Kevin Harlan yesterday. It said, please pray for him because he's doing another Dolphins game this week for CBS.
Honestly, yeah, seriously.
this presentation of the NFL. Yeah, man.
Which one do you like better, the Fox NFL or the CBS NFL?
CBS. That might be because I grew up in Kansas City.
We watched AFC games.
And we watched AFC games, and those were exclusive to CBS for a long time.
And we always had the noon games back in the day.
So the Fox one, the one thing I'll never understand about Fox, and I would desperately beg them to ditch from a TV perspective, is
the robots?
We're done with the robots.
You don't like the robots?
You don't like the robot?
Get rid of the stupid
robots. It is
robots.
random in why they do that.
They don't even look like modern robots
I would
anymore.
argue it's
like
more
when they
fitting.
created that looked like a robot that like maybe you'd see made. I've seen the MIT robots do triple backflips with assault rifles, like taking down buildings. That's not even like an accurate representation of a robot anymore.
To me, it's more fitting now than ever. We're closer to those than ever. It didn't make any sense then. So this, classic Masters theme for the text line. But yeah, you're not.
I'm sorry, this is my nap music.
Yeah.
It doesn't stand as well on its own without Jim Nantz saying, "Hello, friends." It needs like the commentary. The other ones, they just hit, right? You don't necessarily, I don't need the commentary to enjoy them quite the same. But.
Charger, Supercharger, the old San Diego Superchargers theme.
This thing?
I think this is what they're talking about.
We got all kinds in the system.
Huh. I don't know if I've ever heard that. I don't know if I've ever heard that before.
Interesting.
I can
mix.
just do this all day, the rest of the show. Just play
From
random themes.
Over on Twitch, 1998 Monday Night Raw is their favorite. A wrestling entry. So like of the ones that like, I will say, I will qualify for this if your favorite sports entry is just the song The Rock came into. That has the same, like I would say like a similar like hype up property as the music we're talking about here.
I mean, a lot of people mentioned the Bulls intro. That's an all timer from the 90s.
Oh, yeah. That was what my favorite piece of maybe social media this entire year was Heisler editing that to the Pope.
Oh, yeah.
It was incredible if you missed it. Because obviously the Pope is from Chicago.
Yes.
He did it to the old Chicago Bulls theme. And it was like entry. It was incredible.
I don't think we have the Bulls intro in the system, unfortunately. That needs to be saved in there permanently.
Do you think that Michael Jordan ever just sits in his car and like turns that on just to like hear it in his head? And honest, like I saw his thing on NBA last night and he said he hadn't picked up a basketball in 2 years, and I don't believe him. I think he's lying.
You think he said he doesn't have
I do not think Michael Jordan has spent 2 years not picking up a basketball.
And I believe him on this part, maybe not over on that, but he said last night that he doesn't have a hoop anywhere near his property.
That I believe.
Okay.
I don't think
so.
That's
If you
crazy.
if you don't have a hoop near your property, where do you think he's going to
play? He
play?
doesn't keep basketball in his house, man.
Where
he played professional.
Do you think he's just dribbling around his house like he's some 14-year-old?
I
and
think
his parents are yelling to stop dribbling the ball.
AI was on New Heights today. Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he's like, man, I'm sore. He's like, I'm 50 now. He's like, I was just shooting baskets with my daughter out front. And he's like, and I was like, oh no.
AI's 12 years younger than MJ's 62.
I know, but like he picked up a basketball yesterday. He was saying that clip, by the way, is really funny. He said, he's like, enjoy it while it lasts. He's like, Allen Iverson still exists, but what is his nickname? Why can't I not think of it now? Why can't I think of Allen Iverson's nickname? Oh, come on, Gold. I was hoping you would help me out. Now all of a sudden I can't think of it. What was his nickname? Help me!
AI? What are we talking about?
Why are you all just leaving me? The answer.
Okay.
He said, Allen Iverson is alive. He said, the answer, he's in heaven, dead. He's just sore from the end of it. But yeah, you really think he didn't pick a basketball in 2 years, man? 2 years?
I actually somewhat believe that.
I bet he doesn't pick one up often.
He said the last time he shot a basketball was when he was at that person's house and the grandkids, and they said, can you shoot a free throw? I believe that there's a chance the last time he shot a free throw was that.
Man, a lot of pressure.
He said that. He said he felt way more pressure to make that free throw.
I did think it's funny. He's like, I already paid for the house. I don't know.
Wow, the text line, there's like 30 texts. The answer, you idiot.
Sorry, text line.
Sorry, I didn't help you out either.
You guys are on an 8-second delay and Gold just staring at me.
I didn't know. I couldn't think of it.
I was
the
going
first name that popped in my mind, I knew.
Someone said Meta World Peace.
The first name that came to my mind, I knew wasn't. The first nickname that came to mind for that was clearly not the right answer. It was the truth, and that's.
It's the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the answer.
That's right. All right.
Oh, it's driving me crazy. Sometimes you just can't think of it.
That is the random question of the day. Up next, we get right back to the Chiefs with Josh Klingler, who will be on the sideline for the Chiefs Radio Network Monday night when Marcus Mariota leads the Commanders. What does that mean for the Chiefs? That's next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Going to realize that working outside maybe is not all it's made out to be. Look, last week, 16 different new students started their Centric journey. Before Centric, they did a lot of different jobs. They maybe worked outside Gold. They did military work, delivery driving, and they were ready to make a change. And over at Centric, they can.
Yeah, now they're all training for new cybersecurity careers. Side by side, actually, at Centric. Your background doesn't matter. As Cody, you laid out some of the fields these students were in before. It doesn't matter. Your future, though, does. And that's where cybersecurity, frankly, is the future. We've been talking about that for a couple months here. And thinking of months, 4 months. Yep. 4 months, that's how quickly you can get into a brand new career. You don't have to wait years to find out that future.
They're ready to train you in that new career, help you find a career in that new, all of it, over at Centric. Book an appointment at Centric.com today and talk to our guy, Russ Mondry.
Is your garage door too loud and whining for help? Overhead Door Company of Kansas City will make it all better. They will perform their full 26-task garage door tune-up for just $79. That's just $79 for up to 3 garage doors and openers. You need this done once a year, so why not now? And for just $79. Call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City at 816-221-0072 or schedule online at overheaddoorkc.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here, too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's, with great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered, with locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin. Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine those live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to sign up today. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
The fastest streetcars, burnouts, car show, barbecue competition, and Chris Jansen live Saturday night. I can fix it. Boost and barbecue this Friday and Saturday at Flying H Drag Strip, Odessa. Kids 12 and under free. Tickets at boostandbarbecue.com.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and nothing says Thanksgiving like football. Verizon is giving you a chance to enter and win 2 tickets and travel for 2 to the Thanksgiving Day football game in Texas. Enter for a chance to win tickets to the Thanksgiving Day game in Texas. Don't miss your shot at the ultimate holiday football experience. Visit a local participating Verizon store in Kansas City to enter the Thanksgiving Day game sweepstakes.
No purchase necessary. 18 plus 50 USDC. Start 10/17, end 11/16. Void where prohibited. For a list of participating stores and official rules, visit Verizon.com/Thanksgiving Game Day Sweeps KC.
Okay, I have to tell you. I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Is your everyday congestion preventing you from enjoying life's big moments? Try Vicks Sinex Saline today and get yourself back in the action. Vicks Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion with a gentle ultrafine mist. Sinex Saline's drug-free, no-mess formula instantly moisturizes and soothes dry, irritated nasal passages for quick and effective relief. Get back to enjoying life's big moments to the fullest without having to worry about everyday congestion holding you back. Just Sinex, breathe, use as directed.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/play.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
One o'clock hour, it's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. We got JT filling in for Drew today, producing. Drew is out at Big 12 basketball media days. Again, you can follow our social media accounts for some of their coverage. We already saw Drew shooting some hoops, giving him a hard time about that. Tomorrow we'll talk to him. There was also some photos and videos from his birthday last night that we must discuss. You are out tomorrow. Bink is in tomorrow, so Bink's going to.
I'll let you know if anything interesting happens on the school field trip.
Please do. Please do.
Certainly not out of the question.
All right, let's talk more about Jaden Daniels not playing in this game. If you're just joining us for the first time today, he's already been ruled out. So Marcus Mariota will be the starting quarterback, and Kling will have a front row seat right there on the sideline for the Chiefs Radio Network. He joins us each and every Wednesday. Kling, that was obviously some big news today. I know there was a chance Jaden Daniels wasn't going to play, but I guess I did not expect we'd have our answer by Wednesday at noon.
Yeah, I'll get out there and bat down a pass if one goes back to Mariota.
Please
so
do.
I will do my part to get thrown out of the building doing that. I'm kind of bummed. Like, this was a game like when the schedule came out, I was really excited about it because I wanted to see the young quarterback play. Obviously, I want the Chiefs to win, but in terms of just having a strictly fun matchup, I was really looking forward to seeing that young quarterback kind of in person. Taking on the Chiefs. So from that perspective, I'm kind of bummed. From a strictly football perspective, obviously I'm not, because this isn't even the same, Marcus Mariota that did beat the Chiefs a number of years ago, and he doesn't give you much scare. Not to mention, if they don't get healthier at some of those other skill positions, they're in some trouble kind of offensively. So wasn't the team that was there kind of on paper, 6 weeks ago. Neither are the Chiefs, but for a much better reason.
Kling, they've got some good running backs over there, but the more I watch the Chiefs defense this year, the more I'm impressed at what they've done against elite level running backs. I mean, look at the numbers for guys like even Saquon, or obviously how well they held down Jahmyr Gibbs. What is it about the Chiefs defense right now that is making it very difficult for those teams who like to run the ball?
I think in a weird way, they get geared up for that guy when a team has that guy, and he's talked about. Every time that Derrick Henry is in the mix, right? They seem to kind of get. I think that they really do get focused in on a specific runner. Maybe not as much, if it's the quarterback per se, but if there's a designated number one runner, what can they do to shut him down? I think it really kind of piques the interest of this defense. I don't know. It feels like sometimes, guys, this Chiefs team can become like that kid in school that just needs something extra. Like he's done all the other homework, and that's how you need to find him some extra stuff. I think at times they just need kind of different kind of carrots as motivation out there. And I think at times when you give them that one key runner, they do a pretty good job of kind of honing in on that guy.
We'll keep an eye out on that for Jonathan Taylor in a few weeks, obviously, as he is definitely that guy in a few weeks. But do you think that that's going to be like, I always felt that way. There was always and we talked about it on this show multiple times with you, that playing with their food part of it that felt like it was a part of other teams. This year's team, because of the way their record started, I feel like they're going into every week looking to kick some ass because they know they're still behind. Do you kind of sense that being a little bit different? They've blown out 3 of their last 4 opponents, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's hope so, because I think, that Jacksonville game, as much as, we harp on stuff, a lot of times they flush it. I didn't feel like they flushed that one. That one, stung. They wanted that to be like, that wasn't right. We didn't do this. And a few guys, kind of without prompting, have kind of brought that one up again where, I was kind of trying to avoid it. You know what I mean? I know the Jacksonville game was not to everybody's desire, but I'm not mentioning it by name, but a few players to me have done that. And so I'm like, okay, well, they were looking at that one as that was kind of the wake-up call. That was kind of the maybe the bottoming out. Not to say Jacksonville can't be a division winner or something, but certainly the way the Chiefs performed in that game left a lot to be desired. And I think that they have obviously taken that to heart. Certainly the defense has, and I don't know if you can have a much better defensive performance than they had this past week. I mean, the limiting they did to an NFL team, I don't care who it was pretty impressive. So the defense is playing with a lot of moxie right now. We know the offense is flying high because they got so many parts to spread the football around too. So not to say they're peaking. Let's hope they're not, because we still want them to be on an upward track as the season goes along. But boy, they look to be in a really good spot right now. Now we just have to keep, stacking wins, because they did kind of put themselves behind the 8 ball with that early and now have drawn themselves back to the pack. You don't want to be, handing out any flubs to anybody.
When's the next loss coming? Because, we were discussing the schedule, and, I think I want to see what Buffalo's defense looks like this weekend before I commit fully that at Buffalo regular season game. The Chiefs typically lose that game against the Bills. Cody mentioned Thanksgiving against Dallas. You're coming off a short week and a big game against the Colts the week before. I know Bob said the Chiefs aren't going to lose a game the rest of the season. I would love for that to be correct. I don't think any team, in my opinion, is not losing a game the rest of the way.
No, and I joked with Bob and Dusty on Monday. I said, I just, not that I'm rooting for the Chiefs to lose, but, I wouldn't mind yanking the Bills chain a little bit. Just continue to give them that teaser, oh, you guys can really do it, and then pull the rug out from them again during the playoffs. So I kind of like that. It's you can have all the regular season ones you want. We're going to get you when it matters. But certainly Buffalo, certainly Indy. I don't know. Are we believing Dallas? Because I think I'm always fearful of the Dallas prop up. They're the Lakers. They're the Red Sox. It's like they're ESPN's favorite team when they're going. So it's okay, let's see if that's a matchup on Thanksgiving. Obviously, being a road trip makes it a little more dicey for the Chiefs. But I don't think they're going to go unbeaten the rest of the way. But I also don't think there's any losing streaks ahead, and probably they'll continue kind of a win streak, and they'll have like they've done right the last 5 years. I think they've always had kind of like a 4 or 5 game win streak. There was some kind of stat I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but
yeah, I have to go find it.
They've put together kind of these win streaks, and I expect this one will do it again. And there'll be a couple of hiccups along the way, and we'll also see if teams are for real, like the Colts, like the Cowboys. I think there's probably like the Chargers in the second matchup. There's some teams that are probably going to still be looking to prove themselves by the time they get the Chiefs.
Teams, for people who don't watch it quite as close as you, Kling, you're down there. The Chiefs are the 6th best or 7th best big play offense in football this year, that being 10-plus yard runs or 20-plus yard passes. I pointed out Pacheco and Hunt Pacheco's got at least one 10-yard run in 6 of 7 games. Hunt's got 3 in 7 games, at least 3 in 7 games. What do you think about where the big playability is in the run game, pass game? Do you expect that to stay all year? All of the big play part that we've been missing for years.
Well, I think the big play part, if you're talking specifically about the run game, I still think it's the asterisk ones where they consider that part of the run game type of things, right? The end arounds, the little gimmicky things, maybe a pop pass, those types of things that end up being double-digit plays that aren't technically like a straight handoff, but they figure out a way to get a guy a ball in the backfield. I think that's probably your most obvious. But if they keep kind of plugging along in the run game, I think it can be satisfactory from the 2 main running backs as well. And then, I think, like we've seen, I think they're just going to keep kind of spoon-feeding extra stuff for Brashard Smith along the way and see what kind of he can handle. We haven't seen Rashee Rice. I mean, I think we saw maybe one play in the backfield, but I keep hearing, watch out. They're going to use him in Deebo Samuel type ways, and so you'll see him probably lined up in weird positions. Mahomes will still get his 10-yard runs when the C's open up. So I think that they have the ability to kind of keep you off guard, and I think that that's as big a factor as anything in getting those kind of chunk plays is when they're not disclosing exactly who's going to get the football and spread the thing around.
I got to say, the runs from Mahomes are about to get easier. Tell me a team that can afford a spy with what the Chiefs are running out on offense right now.
Right. I mean, you take that guy that used to be, double teaming Kelsey, or maybe you take a guy off of Rashee Rice, or you take somebody that was going to cover deep in case Worthy or Thornton ran over the top and have them spy the court. Not really. So, I think you're right. But I think they're also going to be the variety that we like, which is everything opens up and he just dashes and then slides untouched, rather than some of the ones we saw early in the season where he's taking off running, maybe with a little bit of skittishness, or the line has a small breakdown and he's taking on a defensive back at the sideline and putting his shoulder down. Hopefully those are done. I want the 10, 12, 18-yard varieties that are him cruising through the middle untouched and then sliding down.
Kling, we talked about this earlier in the show, so I'm curious your opinion. Josh Simmons, obviously, we know is away from the team at the moment. Let's say he misses a couple more weeks. It already sounds like he's probably not playing Monday, that according to most people in the know. So, we can eliminate this week. But let's say it's 2-3 more weeks before he gets back with the team. When he comes back, will the Chiefs reinstall him as the starter, or what we think will happen, Jalen Moore will just be the starter until further notice happen?
Yeah, I mean, I feel, not knowing the what, right?
Yeah, not knowing the reason why he's absent, sure.
Again, I don't know, but let's play hypothetical. Let's play hypothetical that it's maybe like a Zach Greinke type situation where the guy just, had some stuff going on, needed some time away. We know Greinke was kind of anxiety and whatever, and they just kind of gave him a pause. One, I'd credit the Royals, because if they had never done that, the kid probably would have been out of baseball and not had the career he had.
He's a Hall of Famer, yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like maybe he doesn't get the break, or he doesn't get the support from the Royals, and he just stops playing, which would have been bad for all of us. Bad for him, bad for all of us that got to experience Zach Greinke. So let's just say, and again, I don't know, but let's just say just a situation like that. You could afford to give him time. You don't have to put him back in the mix. And so if he's, able and willing and whatever to come back to the team, whatever's going on, can kind of work through as you're almost like redshirting at that point, what's the harm in that? Because you have Jalen Moore. I just think that they're in a great spot to be able to do that. You don't have to rush him back. Whatever the situation ends up being, it just feels like they put themselves in a position. You don't have to rush him back. You have him make sure he's ready to be back. And you got Jalen Moore, who's probably going to be playing just fine, and it gives you the ability to slow things down for him a little bit. I don't know. It just feels like it's not the worst situation in the world to be in, because last year it might have been a different story when you didn't have that guy. This year you got that guy and that other guy. You know what I mean? So I think that they have the opportunity to play it slow if they want to. Again, I don't know. I don't know any of the situation. I haven't asked anybody. It's been kind of hush-hush.
They're not telling anybody anyway, so.
I've just kind of let it go. Like, he'll be back when he's back, and hopefully everything's fine. And whatever's going on, I hope there's, resolution for him. and the football side's taken care of because you got Jalen Moore, and so you just kind of go on business as usual football wise.
I mean, after the draft, there was definitely the conversation that, well, he may not be available for you this season at all. And now for different circumstances, of course, we were talking about a knee injury, but here we are, and it's not the path that anybody wanted. And obviously, I hope all works out for Josh Simmons. But if I would have told you also in mid-May that, hey, yeah, he's not going to be ready, Jalen Moore is going to have to play all of 2025, you would have been all like, okay, that was also like a known possibility. It's just we obviously thought for a different reason.
Yeah, I mean, I thought going into camp it was going to be a camp battle. It was not. It was like Josh Simmons' job. But if you'd have flipped it around and we were around and just said, well, they did draft Josh Simmons, but they brought in Jalen Moore to play. He's going to play. We would all have been like, oh, okay, that was the plan. So I think you can go back to that plan, albeit for different reasons, and I think it will be just fine because Jalen Moore can play.
When you look at what the team's going to do, I guess now back to the Commanders for a minute. With no Jaden Daniels, what percentage chance do you give the Commanders at making this a problem for the Chiefs on Monday?
Now, it won't be Raider-like. I was really confident going into that Raider game. Now, I didn't think it was going to be that much, but I was just like, if the Chiefs just go out and play their game, this shouldn't be a problem. Like, don't keep them around. Don't turn the football over. Don't do things out of character. And you're going to be just fine because they just don't have the horses to stay with you. I feel like, the Dorrance Armstrong injury is pretty big for them too, right? On defense, the former Jayhawk. So, they're banged up. They're got a different quarterback. Again, what's the level of confidence you have in the health of the skill guys, right? They've been playing without their top wide receivers too. So, it's the in the NFL, everybody has a chance, but not much more than that.
Okay, that works for me. I didn't think it's much more than that either. I'm with you, though. I'm disappointed. This game was supposed to be one of the biggest on the schedule. Chiefs, Monday Night Football against the Rookie of the Year, but now we're just going to get Marcus Mariota's return to Kansas City instead.
I mean, that storyline hopefully lasts like a second. You know what I mean? That it's over. Like, it's not the same dude. They're not getting payback. It's not in anybody's mind. Yeah, I wanted to see the young, one of the young up-and-coming quarterbacks play. So, yeah, it's disappointing that he's not going to be out there.
Josh Kligler, Chiefs silent reporter for the Chiefs Radio Network, will be listening there on Monday night at Arrowhead. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
That's Kling. He joins us each and every Wednesday.
Commanders have lost 4 of their last 6, 3 of their last 4. So they lost at Atlanta, to the Bears, and at Dallas.
Yeah, and Jane Daniels did not play for a couple of those, too.
But they beat the Chargers in one of those games.
With Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels played the last 3 games, 2 of which were losses, but they beat the Chargers at least on the other. But they lost to Dallas and they lost to
no
Chicago
McLaurin and no Debo.
Yeah.
And now it looks like they will get those 2 guys back, but the quarterback is the most significant part. And, yeah, I agree with Clayton.
I feel very confident.
And we talked about it before the season. And, yeah, this to me, as if you were looking at one single game ticket to buy at Arrowhead this year, this was the game I wanted. This was the game I wanted. Now, as we have more knowledge, the Colts game sure looks like the one that you might want to go to.
Yeah, but I wasn't supposed to assume that going into the year.
The Lions would have been I hadn't seen Jane Daniels play before, man. Going to have to wait for a couple more years to see that.
God, when will it be the next time that he's
at Arrowhead too?
Might be way later in his career.
Yeah, it could be.
We're not going to get an Aaron Rodgers situation. You remember how long we talked about?
But am I wrong
Mahomes
on the rotation
versus Rodgers and never saw it?
Am I wrong on the rotation? Could it be like 6 years?
No, it could be that long.
Because
it depends on how the home or away. They're not guaranteed to be in Washington the next time they face each other.
Okay.
The next time they face each other in the division, but it could be. So, it could be a long time before these 2 teams face off in Arrowhead against each other. I don't remember the exact rotations, but yeah, Gold, it could be a bit. We don't know what Jaden Daniels will be by then. Maybe he'll be one of the.
Mahomes will be 36.
Yeah, maybe Jaden Daniels will be one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the league. Maybe he won't. The hell knows? 5 years from now.
I mean, you can already look at future opponents. Let's see. So the Chiefs, there is, so in 2027, there's an NFC East to be determined opponent, depending on how certain stuff. So that would
probably depends on where they finish.
Yeah, so 2027 is the next possible year, and then after that, it's like 2029 or beyond. So, yeah,
bummer. I was thinking more about Jaden Daniels just because the injury stuff's cropping up, so people are bringing it up. Drake May's playing good football. Jaden Daniels not playing much football, playing okay football when he's healthy, but he's been dinged up, so he's missed some games. Do you think there are people who are already saying, like, if I gave the blanket, you can start your franchise with any of the quarterbacks drafted in the, what was that, the 2024 NFL draft, which one are you starting with? Last year, if you'd asked that question, every single person on the planet would have answered Jaden Daniels. Do you think anybody would say Drake May now? Do you think anybody would change their answer up?
There.
Or maybe, I don't know, Caleb Williams. That seems like an even bigger stretch, but that's why I mentioned Drake May, who's playing good football and his team's in first place.
Yeah, somebody out there will. Not going to be me.
Not me either.
Somebody out there will.
I'd still start it with Jaden
Drake
Daniels.
May is having a great season. He's got the third best odds to win MVP. He's been awesome, and I don't have to keep. I've told you my belief in him long term.
You're buying cards,
and buying sports cards of his to hopefully be able to grow the market. Anyway, so this is not me saying Drake May stinks at all. But Jaden Daniels had a historically great rookie season last year. He didn't just all of a sudden lose his talents. That would be someone named C.J. Stroud. I don't know what the hell's happened to him. He looks like someone that's just lost it.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryan's going to lose his job because
C.J. Stroud has just lost it. He doesn't look like the same quarterback. Jaden Daniels just struggling to stay healthy. Something to watch. I'm a little concerned about how he's now starting to be a little more injured this year. Knee injury, now a hamstring injury. It's definitely something to watch. But no, I would still draft Jaden Daniels above, Drake May in this hypothetical.
That draft is just going to end up going down as a very good quarterback draft because obviously those four guys, Penix is playing some decent football. We don't know about J.J. McCarthy. He's been hurt too, obviously.
Yeah, that doesn't look great right now.
That one doesn't look great. But even Spencer Rattler was in the third round of that draft, and he looks pretty decent. I'm not saying he's like a world beater, but he looks pretty decent. I would still start it with Jaden Daniels. I'm just curious if people would start shifting or changing their mind on it. That's all.
Text line from the 913-586-7965 says, I would choose Drake May. Someone went on to say, Daniels is not going to have a long career with his body type. He's already stacking injuries. That's the part to watch. He
played all 17 games last year.
But he was healthy all last year. Drake May.
He's missed 2 games this year in full.
Let's see if Drake May can stay healthy all of this season and continue the momentum he has. But the conversation is closer than ever, no doubt.
I guess part of this is Drake May definitely plays a more pocket passery style of football, but not entirely. Did he not start last year as the starter for the Patriots? Did they go to him after a few games?
It was Jacoby Brissett initially or something.
Oh, that's right. I was like, why did he only play 13 games last year?
Jacoby Brissett. I think it was Brissett got the nod the first couple weeks.
Boy, that really set his career up, those couple of games that Jacoby Brissett made a start or whatever. I was just trying to remember if he got hurt or whatever, that's all. Or if he,
Brissett, he made his debut in week 3. He was in a game, fourth quarter, the Patriots 24-3 loss to the Jets. He finished the game 4 of 8 for 22 yards. And then after they lost on October 8th, May was named the starting quarterback against the Texans. In that game, he was 20 of 33 for 3 touchdowns and 2 picks.
Oh, I mean, not perfect, but certainly not bad.
I mean, last year, he was 2,200 yards passing, 15 touchdowns, 10 picks.
What would your ranking be? You're redrafting the 2024 draft. Patrick Mahomes has decided he doesn't want to play football anymore, and you got to take one of those guys.
Jaden Daniels, 1.
Okay, that'd be the same. Drake May or Caleb Williams,
Drake
2?
May, 2.
I think that's fair.
Caleb Williams, 3.
Penix, 4.
Yeah.
Nix. Remember Bo Nix in that draft, too? This is a pretty good quarterback draft class.
Nix ahead of Penix.
Okay.
And then Penix, obviously, and then Rattler.
Would you take Rattler instead of...
Who did I miss?
J.J. McCarthy?
Oh, I'm sorry. McCarthy has to be ahead of Rattler still.
Okay.
It's a little bit of the unknown, but yes.
I'm kind of tempted by Rattler.
Yeah, because what we're seeing from Rattler to me is he's been this is like as good as it's
the other guy was still a first-round pick.
This is as good as it. What Rattler's doing right now is as good as he can be.
I think Rattler might have got himself a starting job in the NFL for a few years.
He's at least made I don't know about a starting job. He's going to be around the league as a backup or whatever for a long time now. That's what's happened for Rattler.
Yeah, he's played well enough that I think he gets this Gardner Minshew career arc where there's some teams he starts for Gold, and then he backs up for some other teams that he ends up the starter as when their young quarterback fails, and he maybe just sticks around the league a little bit. That's all.
Someone was saying McCarthy undrafted. Remember Drew? Look, we've all had bad takes. That was not a great one after 2 weeks, 1 game in, or one quarter.
That kind of goes back to our intervention with him yesterday. Just relax a little. We can see a little bit of somebody before we make the full determination on them. But also, it's tough. Sometimes you see something and you say, this is crazy. Look, we all have bad takes. Rob Parker, I saw this clip this morning.
Yeah.
Rob Parker said it's not even impressive what Shohei Ohtani did in a baseball game. And then we're just prisoners of the moment.
Stop.
Were we prisoners of the moment when a guy went 6 1/3 innings and hit 3 home runs and an ALCS or an NLCS clincher? He said, we're prisoners of the moment, man. We don't know how to look back at history. He said, other guys have hit 3 home runs in a game. Big deal.
And pitched and struck out 10.
He just said that
in an NLCS.
He said we just like that because it's an anomaly.
Oh my gosh.
I'm making you mad you didn't even hear the clip. It's such a
Have you not heard the clip yet?
It's such a stupid clip.
It's also from Rob Parker.
Hold on, I'm going to get this clip real quick for you because this is great.
You did hear it?
Oh,
JT?
I've heard it. Oh, well, okay. Yeah. Here it is. Worst sports take ever.
Right, here, let's hear it.
Let's get this up.
So we can get Gold's live reaction on video, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook.
This is why people get caught up on this whole idea of prisoner of the moment. Because the prisoner of the moment made it like Shohei had done something that nobody had ever done. Okay?
Okay.
And it's not true. Okay? First of all, people have hit 3 home runs in a game.
I'm laughing at you fighting for your life right now.
Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs on 3 pitches, consecutive pitches, by 3 different pitchers in a World Series game.
He did.
Incredible.
Did he strike out 10?
That's how I feel.
Did he pitch
Here's
6
the other
2/3?
part. So people, I
Does the
get
number
it.
of
He's a
pitches matter?
unicorn. They're making it like, well, nobody. Well, yeah, we know because only him and Babe Ruth have been the only guys who have pitched right and hit home runs at this kind of clip. There's only been 2 guys since the 20s. But people keep going, he's the first guy since, yeah, of course he is, because nobody else has ever done it.
That's exactly why it's impressive.
Cut it off.
Nobody else has done it.
I'm not even arguing with him in person, but I agree with whoever else was jumping in. What a dumb take.
That's the point. Well, it's never been done again, so that doesn't make it all that impressive.
You guys are making it seem like he did something really impressive. It's only because nobody else has done it. What? What? Oh, goodness. Up next.
I'm so glad you never saw it until now.
I had never heard that. All right, we'll get to what's trending. And then earlier today, our Odyssey NFL insider, Ross Tucker, joined us. We asked him about the Josh Simmons situation, about this Chiefs offense, and where he's at on the Colts. That's the one team that everybody's like, are we buying in? I feel like we've been saying that for 3 weeks already.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
If you have roofing needs, there's only one place in Kansas City you want to go. That is Century Roofing. CenturyRoofingKC.com to schedule that free estimate today. I've told you before, they've worked on my roof, and it's nice to have. It's really nice to have the peace of mind. Roofing problems can have small problems turn into big problems. Maybe you ignored when hail came through. Maybe some wind you thought blew some shingles up. If you're not sure, why not schedule a free estimate and find out what they can do? They've been handling business for 35 years in Kansas City. Over 30,000 roofs. So if it requires a replacement and you need to work with the insurance company, well, Century Roofing can handle that because they are accustomed to handle it. Not some fly-by-the-night, knock-on-your-door roofing company, one that has been voted best of Johnson County 4 years in a row, best roofing company in the city, according to readers over at the Kansas City Star. Those are the kind of things you want in a roofing company. Also knowing that they can handle any type of roofing material you could possibly need to work with. So trust the pillars of strength. Go with locally owned and female-owned Century Roofing. Go to CenturyRoofingKC.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
It's football season, and the best place to catch every play is Jefferson's. With great daily specials, an unbeatable happy hour, and plenty of TVs. Every seat is the best seat in the house. Bring your friends, bring your family, and bring your appetite. From legendary wings to juicy burgers to fresh oysters, Jefferson's has your game day covered. With locations in Lenexa, North KC, Lawrence, Topeka, and Joplin, Jefferson's is your ultimate game day destination. Jefferson's, wings, burgers, oysters.
The NBA is back. It's NBA tip-off week, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. So even if you miss tip-off or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything. For who's going to score next to a fourth-quarter comeback. You can even combine your bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at an even bigger payout, however you want to play. Now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 wager wins. So all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to sign up today. Fall is here, so celebrate the return of basketball season with our friends over at FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue. Non-withdrawal bonus bet expires 7 days on the street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Things are getting spooky in South Kansas City, but the deals at Rob Side Ford, they're scary good. Rob Side is with me. Hey, Rob, what's haunting the lot this month?
No tricks, just treats. From Broncos to Explorers to F-150s and commercial vehicles, we've got the inventory, the selection, and the lowest prices in Kansas City.
And no creepy sales tactics, just non-commissioned staff and real value.
Exactly. And while we're on the scary stuff, Kevin, your brisket from last weekend still haunts me.
Okay, dry rub shouldn't actually mean dry.
But here's the real flavor. KC's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars with nearly 3,000 reviews. Voted best car dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
If you want simple, upfront, and easy, Rob Side Ford is the treat you've been looking for. Visit 135th and State Line and buy right with Rob Site.
Rob Site Ford, ROBSIGHT.com. And Kevin, leave the cooking to us this Halloween.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ready to kick off the fun? Chumba Casino is your go-to game plan during halftime or overtime. From spinning slots to instant scratch-style cards, it's like running the perfect play, all from home. New players score a free welcome bonus and daily logins with a shot at some serious prizes every time you play. Get in the game and visit ChumbaCasino.com today. Let's Chumba. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. What's trending?
What's trending brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit TellyTire.com today.
Number one on what's trending in the news that broke during the noon hour today. Jaden Daniels already ruled out for the Washington Commanders. The Chiefs will not get a Mahomes versus Daniels matchup. Good break for them. Marcus Mariota will get the start on Monday Night Football. Chiefs up to 12-point favorites in a couple spots because of that. Tomorrow, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes will speak to the media. We'll find out the latest on some of the injuries, things like that. And at this point in time, obviously expect Jalen Moore to be the starting left tackle.
Next up on What's Trending, busy day over in the NFL league circles. They are said to be considering maybe a change of rules for the onside kick, further considering the 4th and 20 consideration of the rule. They said the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl week festivities, the Pro Bowl game stuff will take place Tuesday night of Super Bowl week there in San Francisco. Also, Roger Goodell had to confirm that they have no intention to change their Super Bowl halftime performer from Bad Bunny, citing his popularity worldwide as the reason why they selected him in the first place.
Yeah, we don't need to make the Super Bowl a whole political mess.
No,
we don't need
he's a popular artist that chose
no matter what your feeling is on the halftime show, like, can we all just for once agree we do not need to turn the Super Bowl into some political debate, please. All right. Next up on What's Trending. The NBA season tipped off last night with a double overtime thriller between the Thunder and the Houston Rockets. Thunder get a 125-124 win on a night in which they got their rings, a ring ceremony, banner went up. It was actually really cool, I thought, from NBC compared to how ESPN handled it. They just let naturally the entire pregame celebration play out. There was no additional commentary, just let it play out, and I enjoyed that. Versus ESPN would go to it, and they'd cut to a Taco Bell commercial, then they come back and have Kendrick and Stephen A. yelling at each other. I got to enjoy the ceremony last night.
Let the champions enjoy their championship moment. Next up on What's Trending, the San Francisco Giants, in an unprecedented move, I'll say, have hired Tennessee coach Tony Vitello to be their new manager. No big league manager has ever just taken a guy directly from college. This isn't like college football. They usually have to spend time as a professional coach at the major league level first. He's just been a college manager, but Tony Vitello will be the new Giants manager. We'll see whether or not this somewhat bold for manager standpoints.
Definitely. It's the first time ever.
Yeah,
that with no pro experience. But props to everybody involved there to see. Look, so many managers get fired quickly anyway. Like, fine, try a different path. See what happens. Maybe you end up hiring one of the better managers in baseball. We look back 5 or 10 years from now. I don't know. They moved on from other managers pretty quick. So there you go. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Earlier today, Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider, joined us as he does each and every Wednesday, and we started our conversation with him asking about the offense looking as dangerous as it has in about 3+ years.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, that was super impressive. At one point, I think the Chiefs had 29 first downs, and the Raiders had 2, which I'm not sure I've ever seen before in an NFL game, and I think I posted that on social media at Ross Tucker NFL. I mean, that was one of the craziest stats I think I've ever seen. I've told you guys this last week that my Even Money betting podcast co-host Steve Fezzik thinks the Chiefs are the best team. This week he said that he has them 2.5 points better than any other team, which is kind of a crazy thing to say about a team that, has 3 losses already this year. But he goes by what the underlying metrics say and what he's seeing, and he feels like they look like to quote him, the Tyreek Hill Chiefs, and they certainly look very, very dangerous and formidable. Really, in the game against the Raiders on both sides of the ball, but certainly over the last few weeks on offense.
And they peeled, they certainly took their foot off the gas, to say the least, in that game as well. I mean, I think they could have put up 45.
Well, that's the thing. I think it was smart that they didn't save those points for another game. But it really is funny how the NFL works. You can go from, concerns about this team and this team can't move it, but then they make a couple changes or tweaks. They get a guy back or two, and then it just kind of works. It just kind of clicks. You wouldn't think one guy or even 1.5 guys, we could call it, would make this much of a difference. But for this Chiefs offense, getting Worthy back and adding Rashee Rice, it certainly feels like that's just kind of opened everything up for them.
For the teams around them, obviously it's been Buffalo and the Ravens for all of 5 years. Cincinnati sprinkles into the conversation when they get a healthy Joe Burrow, isn't a part of the conversation when he's not. So for it being the same, how serious should we be taking the other ones? Denver, the Colts, the teams who do have winning records right now, outside of Buffalo. We'll get to them in a minute. Which of those teams do you take serious as like an actual threat for Kansas City?
Well, so I would say the biggest threat right now is the Indianapolis Colts. They are really, really good. And I know because they haven't been good in a while, nobody really believes that. And I know because Daniel Jones is their quarterback, nobody really believes that. And those are both fair. But at some point, it's a big enough sample size that we got to go by what we're seeing this year. And what we're seeing this year is that they are awfully, awfully good. I saw some stat, don't quote me on it, because I'm not doing a Colts game this week. I'm actually on my way to the airport to do the Chargers and the Vikings tomorrow night for Westwood One on the radio. But the Colts have scored 3.6 points per drive so far this season. The entire season, 3.6 points. That's the best in over 20 years. So I don't care who you're playing or how you're going about it. If you're averaging over a field goal per drive, that is super, super impressive.
We're talking to Ross Tucker, our Odyssey NFL insider. You mentioned the Chargers, Thursday Night Football. They're going to host the Vikings. We just saw them take on the Colts, and I know you're getting set for that broadcast tomorrow. Where are you at on LA right now? I mean, I know they got all the injuries. I think that is a huge chunk of this, but we've seen, also I think Justin Herbert's play, go down a little bit, some bad decisions in the red zone against the Colts. Are the Chargers a team that you still think can get this thing corrected and be a factor in the AFC, or is this a game tomorrow night where you're like, hey, they have to find a way to beat the Vikings, otherwise this could be kind of a similar Charger season, what we typically see over the last 5 or 6 years?
I think that's what it's going to be. I think that they'll continue to be on a roller coaster. I think that they'll win, 10 games, let's call it, 10-7, get to the playoffs, and I guess theoretically in the playoffs, Herbert could really play very well. And because of that, they could come out and have a great game and, they could beat anybody in the playoffs, but it's kind of hard to watch them, or him for that matter, and feel like, okay, this is a team that's capable of winning 3 playoff games in a row, or 4 if you include the Super Bowl. I just think that seems unlikely. Now, in fairness, they might get Joe Alt and Trey Pipkins, their 2 offensive tackles, back, tomorrow night. They're going to get Khalil Mack back at some point. So as they get more of these guys back in the fold, that would seem to give them a better chance to be more competitive. But right now, they lost both their running backs. Their O-line, no quarterback in the NFL has been hit more than Justin Herbert. And that just should not be the case. But when you lose both your offensive tackles, who are both really good players, you lose both your running backs, their offense is basically Justin Herbert drop back and be a hero. And he's done it pretty well, I would say. But maybe not, maybe he's not capable of doing it enough.
On the other side of the AFC, we'd mentioned Buffalo before. I wanted to exclude them for a minute, just knowing, history-wise says they're good. Their 4 wins are against Baltimore, New York, Miami, and New Orleans. I don't know how many combined wins those 4 teams have, but it's not a lot. They lost back-to-back games against New England and Atlanta. How much of a, litmus test is at Carolina for them? Are you as high on them as you've been in previous years? What are your thoughts on Buffalo?
Well, so they obviously have the ability and the pedigree to win a bunch of games, but they're in a dogfight now, even just in their own division, with the way Drake May and the New England Patriots are playing. I do think Carolina is a litmus test. I mean, they found a way somehow to win 4 games, which is
impressive.
wild. I think if you ask people walking around in Kansas City how many wins the Carolina Panthers had, they would not say 4 right now, but that is the case. And I think you just need to see the Bills come out and play better, both sides of the ball. Now, they're getting some reinforcements on the D-line. Michael Hoyt and Ogunjobi were both suspended 6 games under the performance-enhancing drug policy. So they're getting some guys back, and I would think that the bye probably was good for them and that they'll come out and be better on both sides of the ball. I actually expect them to really handle the Carolina Panthers, but if they don't, then panic will start to set in.
I did look it up. The Bills' wins are against teams currently a combined 3-24. Those are their 4 wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good. But you can't help who you play.
Sure.
But they could have. They weren't even that dominant in those games is the problem.
I want to get your perspective. You've been around the NFL for a long time, Ross. The situation here in Kansas City, I don't know how much nationally it's been discussed and how much you're in tune with the Josh Simmons situation where he now has missed 2 games for this team. It certainly feels like he's likely not going to be back for the game against the Commanders. They have not placed him on the NFI list. The team is really not discussing much of what is going on or a potential timeline. I think everybody has a somewhat of a potential idea of maybe what the issue is. Do you believe, let's say he comes back in 3 weeks, do you believe he just gets the starting job back right away? Or is Jalen Moore, who's playing decent right now, who was signed to a pretty nice contract, a guy you think would hold on to the job?
Well, that's a really good question. And I think coaches are very, very hesitant to mess with what's working. You know, I can tell you 3 times in my career I didn't start the opener, but then a guy got hurt or wasn't playing well or whatever. I went in and we started to play better. And because of that, you know, they ended up keeping me in there even when that guy came back to health. You know, that certainly happened in 04, it happened in 03, it happened in 02, you know, 3 years in a row because, you know, I'm not even saying I was playing that great necessarily, but the team was, and they didn't want to mess with that. And because they didn't want to mess with that, we ended up sticking with me in there, and I think that would be the case. I think, you know, especially the longer and the more time he misses and the longer and the better Jalen Moore plays, you know, the greater the chance that they're going to just leave Moore in there, but then have Simmons available really in a moment's notice should something happen with Jalen Moore where he's not playing as well.
Or if, like, I guess the play dipped enough that there was a justification for it. I mean, those are really the only – because we're starting to look at it as like he would be next year's starter, and then it just adds this whole cloud of where is their offensive line going into this, and that still requires Simmons to make it back with the team here in some fashion this year.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going a little bit too far, I would say, at this point. But, again, I don't know what Josh is dealing with. I do know this. The Chiefs would probably love if Jalen Moore really plays that well to move on from Jawan Taylor after this year and have the tackles be Jalen Moore
for sure
and Josh Simmons.
No question about that. I know you said you're headed to the airport because you're getting ready to call the Chargers game and head out. So what's the playlist on the airplane? Are you a podcast guy? Or are you just a Swiftie and going all Taylor Swift? What's on the docket?
That's a great question. You know what's funny? I really envy people, I guess, that watch a movie or TV or are like playing like a video game on a plane. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm like I'm full throttle, right? Like, so I will be rewatching the Chargers game.
Okay.
I'll be going through all kinds of notes for Chargers as well as the Titans. I've got other business interests I need to take care of. It's a long flight from Philly to LA. So if anything, I might actually be able to work ahead on Air Force and Army next week because they both have buys this week. But you know what? I probably can listen to some music while I'm watching Air Force and Army if I get to that point because I don't need the audio for those games, I'm watching the college coaching tape. So it might be Taylor's new album. That's certainly a possibility. I saw Old Dominion a couple times recently, so it might be those guys. Or I might just go to like my liked yacht rock songs from the summer.
Okay.
You know, like Christopher Cross, like Sailing, Take Me Away. You know, I'm the world's worst singer, but I want to make you guys like stuff like that, like mellow, relaxing for this flight.
At first, when you were saying you were full throttle, I thought you were doing like high knees like Russell Wilson in the aisle around people.
Yeah. No, I'm not like that. I'm full throttle on studying, being as productive as I possibly can with that time. So when I land in LA, I can have a good meal. I can maybe meet up with somebody. You know, I try to get the work done when I have time to do work. So then other times when I'm with my family or when I like land somewhere, I don't have to do work, if that makes sense.
So that was Ross Tucker earlier today talking about his flight over to L.A. as he's going to be on the broadcast for the Chargers.
Flight.
That is a very long flight. And props to him for getting a little prep work done on the flight out there.
I like to watch movies.
I'm trying.
on the
You
opposite
definitely
of
are
Ross.
a movie guy.
I'm not trying to. I'm
flying.
not trying to focus on an airplane.
I'm flying out of town soon, and I'm trying to decide. Yeah, am I going to do a movie? We talked about. I think I found out what book Vinny Pasquantino is reading.
Oh.
I think I want to buy that, not for the flight. I think I just want to read that on the beach. That's what I want to do.
So you found out what Vinny was reading for the Vinny Pasquantino book club.
Yeah, because the flight out there is 5 a.m. I might just try to sleep. So
as a reminder for when Vinny was on the show, he said he was not going to go to London to watch the Jets.
Then he read a book.
He was reading a book, and it inspired him.
And I said, I got to know what book this is. And we found out.
It inspired him. He said he didn't want to talk about the books that he reads on air or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he just said he keeps his reading private.
Yeah.
But he told us.
Yeah. And I'm going to buy that book.
You're going to buy it, and you're going to go. You're going to read it.
Eventually down the road, you guys can put 2 and 2 together and figure out which book it was, I guess. But
are you going to post about the book?
No, but we'll probably joke about it at some point.
Oh, I see.
I'm guessing it'll come up at some point.
We'll see if it has his life-changing of a moment for you.
I hope so.
You're already going out of town before?
What?
So it's like the opposite?
Oh, yeah.
He used it as inspiration to go.
Yeah.
You're already going.
The book has nothing to do about traveling.
Yeah.
It's I'll leave it at that. But yeah, it's
I'd love some guesses over on the text line. I'll look at them here in a little bit. 913-586-7965.
But yeah, I figured that's an option on the flight.
Somebody said, look at the Colts schedule. They haven't beaten much better teams than
they haven't. They have not. Their schedule is very soft.
3-24, whatever the hell it is against the Bills have beaten
The Colts have beaten the Chargers. They lost to the Rams.
Okay, so let's go through it real quick.
Yep. They beat the Broncos.
Dolphins 1-6. Broncos, that's a team's got a winning record. They're 5-2.
Yep.
The
Broncos
Titans,
5-2.
Yes.
Jeez, yeah,
they're in first place in the division.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's already better than the Bills wins. The Titans, who are 1-6, who are also awful. They lost to the Rams. They beat the Raiders, who have 1 win, so that's pretty bad. The Cardinals, who have 2 wins, and the Chargers, who have 4 wins. So they've at least beating 2 winning teams and at least one with 2 wins instead of 1 or 0. Not kidding. The Bills right now have 4 wins. All of the teams they have beaten have either 1 or 0 wins. They have not faced a team with multiple wins they have not beaten a team with multiple wins on the season. The 2 times they faced those teams, they have lost to both of them. That's why this Carolina Panthers game is so interesting. The Panthers are a surprising 4-3, as Ross Tucker pointed out. And I bet most people, as he said, probably don't realize that. I knew that goal because I saw a graphic that showed the Chiefs and the Panthers with the same record, and it broke my soul for a minute, mostly because I was just like, wait, what? Like, not even that. It's just like, it looked confusing and wrong.
JT, thanks for filling in, man.
Yeah, JT.
Are you also sweating your ass off? It is about 90 degrees in here.
Can you tell I took the hoodie off? I had to.
I don't have
the jacket off.
I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and I don't have an undershirt on.
Oh.
So I'm
it's
dying of heat.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
can't
bad.
wait to walk out of the studio.
Actually, I'm like, can we go outside? Like,
immediately.
It's really nice outside. It must be 85 to 88 degrees in here. I'm truly not exaggerating. It's awful. So I'm actually glad the show is coming to an end today.
This is for all those complaints I made about when it was too chilly in here. It was like 110 degrees outside.
Brutal right now.
like, watch this, Cody. Here's this.
Jeans and a long sleeve shirt, and you guys both have t-shirts on now because you changed. And man. Whew, I got to get back in that mode of where I got to remember that by the time we get to 1 o'clock this time.
Layers. You got to be willing to take them off and put them on.
All right. Cody, you're out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll
Jay
be back on
Binkley
Friday.
will be in as the substitute teacher tomorrow on the show. Drew will be back as well. We'll talk to you guys then.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and